And now, live from the Man Cave, Studio B, deep in the heart of constitutional Livingston County, Michigan, on a Tuesday night catching up on the news Rant, with your co-host, Teddy Bester, yours truly, Larry Parsons. This is my brain. And now, the host, the man that put this all together just for me, Mr. Jeremy Scott Gibbs. He's the guy behind me. Mark Levin is going to be late for the show tonight.
Who'd you say was going to be late? You were late.
Mark Levin.
You idiot! Get off my show! What are we on? Oh, click us. We got to go to the
Funny.
Go to the fish cam.
That's not funny.
Jorge, go to the fish cam.
That's not funny. I'm
We
never
have-
late for the show. I'm on time for my show every single time.
Jorge did not do our shot. It's supposed to start out on the fish cam. We worked all about the fish cam because I'm still putting my earphones in. There. Now it's on the fish cam and we zoom out nice and slow. Look at that.
You're a gay fish.
And Teddy soundbite.
You're a gay
There
fish.
we go. I didn't even get to hear it. Was it tasty?
Yeah, it said,
Fish sticks in your mouth?
no, it's just you're a gay fish.
You're a gay fish. Because you like.
I think we gotta make the volume louder on that file, though.
I still got it up.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Nice.
I can bring it up to there. Play it again.
You're
See
a
if you
gay
like
fish.
it that loud. Versus
You're a gay
voices.
fish.
There we go. I think that's good.
That's good? Okay. I can't hear it. I don't have my headphones plugged in.
Dale says, the host with the most, and Big K is asking, where is Patrick?
Patrick has the night off. I would like for all of you to be praying for Patrick. Patrick's mom has some pretty decent health issues. She's 94 or 95. So, but he was down there this whole weekend apparently taking care of her. I want to give more details on that because it's personal to him. But he asked if he could take the night off, and as a non-paid co-host, I said that's okay.
No, you can't do that.
No, you can't
No,
take
you
the
can't
night
take
off.
the
How
night off.
dare you?
How dare you be late for Mark Levin's show?
How dare you?
How dare you?
That's one we need to get. See, Teddy, you need a pad or write it on the back of your paper.
I asked you if there was anything.
Dude, I don't
I've
think
asked-
about it until the moment is here. And
Well,
then
I'll have to put it in my brain then. It's in my brain backlog.
Get it in your brain. This is your brain.
I can't believe I didn't think of that before. How
Yeah.
dare you? That
How dare you?
problem is with me using the soundboard, I'd probably do that too many times. How dare you?
Jorge, how we thinking the lights looking over there, buddy? I get a thumbs up.
He's
So we have hired an undocumented person off screen. If you catch me talking to Jorge, oh, my grandson's down there on the stage waving. If you guys can, I'll go to Larry's side. There it is. Jump up and down there, Bubbles. There he is, right next to the microphone. And there's Margie. And Vince is lurking. They're all three lurking. All right, get out. You had your dinner. Take that lasagna with you that's in the fridge.
Larry.
You got gay fish there?
That's sick.
I don't know what you two are doing.
That's just.
I dare not repeat what's being said in chat.
It's the chat getting spicy.
My
over there?
Chat.
IQ went down just for reading that.
As well it should.
Well, I got a text from someone that watched the show before we got on, and they were saying the chat is already too spicy.
Oh. Okay. Now are you on mine? My
I am on
chat?
the Rumble chat, yeah.
Are you on the chat pop-up from the...
Is that on the other Rumble Studio thing? Or I know you pulled up the box before. I don't see the box.
I'm just trying to make sure...
I could just open up YouTube, though, if we're missing that.
Yeah. I was going to do the joke if we had a fourth chair co-host tonight, a guest with us, that I was going to at one point say, wow, Patrick, you've really changed. because we were trying to line up a couple of our lady friends in the audience that have threatened to allow themselves to participate in the frivolities of our endeavor up here. All right, we're ready with the show. Jorge, how we doing? Thumbs up. Buddy.
He's mute.
I'm just going to keep getting a thumbs up.
He's a mute, undocumented immigrant.
Get the gimp.
We here at This Is My Brain are a non-discriminatory employer, and we employ on our DEI quota.
Exactly. Exactly. That's what we do here. All right, let's do this. I don't know what I have queued up for Mom, so I'm going to just chance it.
And
If this offends you, you can
pluck off.
All right. But it's not after 10 o'clock, so we're not going to do that. I was thinking of. All right, so it should autoplay the next one. Let me see. Maybe I have to back out of it and then come into it again. There was a guy.
You ready?
You ready?
Okay.
All right, let's go with our first disclaimer. Grandma Connie.
All right, this is my brain. Notice, this podcast is mostly raw and unfiltered and completely politically incorrect.
Completely.
Note, we say Merry Christmas and the Pledge of Allegiance, especially the part about one nation under God. We thank our troops for their service.
Thank you, Larry.
Thank you, Larry.
Thank you, Larry.
Thank you, Larry.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Yep.
To all the veterans out
All the
there.
veterans.
Yes, to all the veterans.
Yep.
For
And thank you.
everyone who's fought for this country or supported the ones who fought for this country.
Yep.
That's right, because families that have soldiers in them
Yeah.
are supportive
Absolutely.
That's right.
because they make the sacrifice as
Livingston
well as the
Landron
soldier.
says, cheers, Larry.
Cheers, Larry.
Cheers.
That's
Thank you.
right.
That's awesome.
That's right. We only recognize two genders.
Due e gendro.
Two genders.
I don't even know if that's Italian. That's but a it little sounded good.
Rush
Boy.
Limbaugh's Spanish lingo.
Girl,
for you.
because boys
Are
have
ya?
penises and girls have vaginas. Kindergarten cop. Kindergarten cop.
I texted
That
her.
is a movie from my childhood.
We're not even 5 minutes in penis.
And penis and vagina have a drop on the show.
Holy
I was just being science.
Mom-
I mean, the next
follow.
thing you know, we'll have dick and
Just
fart. Next thing you know, we'll have dick
Let
and fart
us
jokes,
be
and I won't know what to do.
honest
I miss
on
honest.
this show. Very
Come on.
nicely done.
Thank you.
Science.
Very nicely
Kelly.
done. Yes.
Penis and vagina. It's the way to start
Yep.
the show.
As adults.
Just clarifying
Yep.
the genitalia that belongs to
Well, it's
the
amazing,
species.
amazing how liberals
This
don't
is how
understand
come we might
simple
have to start
science.
just doing it.
I mean,
I want Mom
they claim to be, we're the party of science. Men can have babies.
Science.
No.
That was
At least not in humanity.
That was
Right.
one of the
Yeah.
best. I saw a discussion where
one's
this
going too
trans
long.
person was talking to a panel of people, and they were like,
All right,
you know,
I'm cutting that one. All right. Anyways, you guys know the spiel on here, on our disclaimer for that one. We'll go with the rest of them. Teddy is working hard at getting after me. We got to update all of these disclaimers.
I'd like
and-
for us to, get some new ones because we always get Larry always reads a different one every
Yes,
single time.
And you're stuck with the same
And I'm stuck
one
with the same one over and over.
week after week,
Week
after
after week
week,
after
and
week.
it just.
have a new one for me.
I hope you turn your microphone on.
I hope you have a new one.
It's not a proper show without Larry being late or having a tech issue.
Right, right. At least he's on his phone, and we're good.
That's right.
Yep.
So let's do. What do I want you to do here, young Theodore? Teddy. You know what? I want you to do this one.
To argue with a
Whoops. Why'd that go to that?
got off my screen.
Oh
Hit it back.
shit! I'm sorry. That's what I meant.
To argue with a person who has renounced the use of reason is like administering medicine to the dead. Thomas Paine.
It's kind of useless.
Yeah,
Kinda
that
useless.
is one of the most truthful quotes in history.
Think so?
Sure. Look how it applies in our lives today.
Yeah.
You
They're
know,
ridiculous, dude.
He's talking about liberals.
He is talking about liberals. Hey, that actually showed up. But why does it bleed through? I don't understand that little screen. See how the has is bleeding through it?
Like on the corner?
Yeah. It's weird.
Somebody just sent me a meme, and it's.
What do you meme?
It's by Ted Nugent.
What do you meme?
It says, being unfriended by a liberal is like having garbage that takes itself out.
That is a nice one. All right, I'm doing this one tonight because I feel frisky. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, except for bears. Bears can kill you. Bears just kill you, man. So if you don't get killed by a bear, I guess you get strong by the attack of something. You know, if you get an angry woodchuck coming after you and it's, you know, gonna chuck some wood for you, I guess, you know. So I stopped the studio, or stopped the streamer.
Back live, FYI.
Okay.
Oh, here we are.
So
It's not a normal show without Rumble glitching out on us, isn't it?
No, it is not. To all the techs at Rumble, get your shit together.
all right, I got Jorge squared away over there. He's like, I only know 3 buttons, senor.
I thought he was mute, though.
What?
He's mute. Remember?
He signed it to me.
Ah, he did in like Mexican Sign
Mexican.
Language.
It was kind of laid back.
like-
Is it
like
harder
that- it's
to
like-
sign with a Mexican accent?
It's like that South Park episode. Watch out, Mexican Joker could get you.
It's just a little laid back. It's okay. It's not Speedy Gonzalez. I don't know why you're crazy. All right, let's do this last one and get over. I mean, just be done with this
You know the thing.
stuff. Yeah.
Never apologize and never explain. It's a sign of weakness.
And I think that people out here would do well, if you're watching, to understand that apologies do nothing with these monsters.
You know, I think
that soundboard a little bit?
I
Turn
think
it up
the
just a little bit
computer
more.
went down, or that computer going into the mixer is down. I may have to go over there and tweak that myself. Here in a minute.
Can't have nothing right here.
See how we're getting that hot spot still in the middle without, it's just weird to me, right on the middle of that screen. Do you see that, Jorge? I know. He's working hard over there.
For the on-air thing with the bit rate, is
Yeah.
that always set okay? For the,
Yeah.
it's always set okay? I thought it was something.
See,
It's not that. It's the Rumble, what Rumble's getting.
see, you hired Jorge before I had a chance to get Guillermo over here. Because Guillermo needs a job.
Well, we're open to all comers. All right, chicken wings and Florentine stuffed shells. That's what I just threw together for everybody. Was that okay? Larry?
Excellent.
Did you wolf that down in about 10 seconds?
Yes. Yeah, so stuffed peppers were really good.
A little bit of a step up from your normal White Castle, but it won't kill us later.
Sure about that?
Don't stir the pot already when we're talking about White Castle. That's going to devolve into.
What was that? Didn't you call me up excited the other day? My wife got me White Castle.
Yes.
I was like, good, keep that shit to yourself.
Yeah.
Buckwheat
He
says,
said your wife would
okay.
do that, wouldn't she?
Right?
That's what he said.
You're going to get like you and Big K going at each other over if White Castle's good or not. Like that one episode.
Did you ever see that White Castle movie about those?
There was a White Castle movie?
Yeah,
Yes.
Harold and Kumar go to White Castle.
Yes.
No.
I refused to watch it
It was great.
because it was White Castle. All right, so we had a good dinner, good shout outs, all that stuff. Crunching my ice, discussing on the show. Teddy brought us in this one from Aristotle. Teddy, the
You read it out?
The quote for tonight.
The quote for tonight in our definition, logical fallacy versus quote Aristotle. Democracy is when the indignant and not the men of property are the rulers.
Read that again for us, and then we'll dive into it for just a minute before we get into everything else.
From Aristotle, democracy is when the indignant and not the men of property are the rulers.
The indignant. Is that like indigent? Or indigent?
Indignant.
Indignant?
Indigent, maybe?
Could be indigenous.
Maybe I'm mispronouncing it.
Could be. But either way, it's the. I like that it's the men of property are not in power. Because again, we've talked about it. Are you whistling over there with your nose? Okay. Our founding fathers thought of putting it in the Declaration of Independence, the right to life, liberty, and property, versus life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness.
Well, the original intentions of the suffrage was for property owners. We were first a country.
Yeah.
Well, sorry.
And that slowly kind of evolved into allowing everybody
Correct.
to vote. One man, one vote.
Right.
Which, sometimes, understandable, it has its benefits, but at the same time, a lot of, if we have everybody voting, then what are the priorities of the ruling elite in order to stay in power in terms of electoral system?
Yeah.
Or
I like the idea of property owners. They titled it to specifically males because they were trying to promote the families. But I like the idea of property owners being the only ones to vote because, well, the ones being able to vote are property owners, and then you realize that there was no obstruction to becoming a property owner other than your own lack of ambition. Anybody could become a property owner. You could earn and do and then buy your own land. We had the whole, that's why there's called the Sooner State over there in, what was it, Missouri? What do you got, Larry?
Indignant, feeling or showing anger or annoyance at what is perceived as unfair treatment. Also, feeling or characterized by or expressing strong displeasure at something considered unjust, offensive, insulting, or off base.
Wow. And that's Aristotle from a long time ago.
Yes.
Yep.
A long time ago, I can still remember how that music used to make me smile. All right, let's get into some news tonight, guys. We are so behind with the unfortunate assassination of Charlie Kirk on, as Larry's shirt shows, 9/10/2025. I just watched highlights of the memorial. Did you get a chance to watch? You watched the whole thing with your wife, right, Larry?
I did. We watched the entire thing with the exception of maybe bathroom breaks or grabbing a snack.
Okay.
But the rest of the time we were pretty much glued to the seat.
Yeah.
Was I gotta say that the amount of elected officials that spoke
Yeah.
and honored our Lord and Savior
Yeah.
was impressive. Who'd have thought that at this present time and date that you could find so many people willing to profess Jesus Christ?
Yeah. It was amazing.
Yes.
And listening to InfoWars today, Alex Jones was marveling at how Marco Rubio's countenance was.
Yes.
And how much he looked genuinely.
All of them.
Yeah.
All of them.
But being specific, talking about Marco Rubio because of the past history there of him being a opponent of Trump and being one of those rhinos at a lot of times, and now him just being phenomenal in doing his job for the Trump administration. Yeah.
Yeah, he saw the error of his ways, and
Right.
it's good that it's like a lot of people talk about how J.D. Vance used to be a never-Trumper.
Yeah, but he was never Trumper for what? The beginning of the run for the presidency?
Yeah.
And then once he was in office, it didn't take him long before he's like, he's the president. Let's do this.
Right. Right. I mean, then there's.
I think there's a big difference between a never Trumper who is a never Trumper because of the establishment. That was Teddy breathing heavy over there.
Sorry.
Oh.
I think there's a big difference between a never Trumper who's a never Trumper because they're an establishment rhino type person.
Right.
Or they're never Trumper because they just didn't know the guy or had a problem with a specific platform area that they had a problem with. I think there's a huge difference in that. You don't know who he is when he walks down that escalator, and you think he's just this celebrity real estate owner who's trying to capitalize on that dynamic, yeah, you might go, who the hell is this guy? I'm not, I'm going to go for the career politician who knows his way around Washington and is going to do that. I can understand that. I, on the other hand, was like, dude, Trump's running? Hell yeah.
Well, yeah, like even Tulsi Gabbard when she went up and spoke.
Who?
Tulsi Gabbard?
Tulsi Gabbard.
Gabbard. Sorry, I mispronounced it.
No, I loved it. That's why I wanted to point it out. I'm like, that's like me calling Jorge.
Jorge?
Have I changed?
Is that
out with Jorge?
Is that how Jeffrey Amaya calls his girlfriend? Jorge! Hey, Jorge!
It's hey whore.
Oh.
It's totally, you got it backwards. Hey, don't pick on colored people here in this county. That's not right.
He's colored?
Well, we're all shades of something.
Oh. Well, I'm white. That's a color.
He's just...
What in God's holy name are you blathering
He's
about?
a strangler shade.
Strangler shade.
What I'm blathering about.
Strangler shade
I've
of
got
gray.
information, man.
Maybe it's hair, getting older.
What is wall feed? Wall feed is... what the hell is wall feed? Wall feed's got to be number 6 over there. If I run over to that table and I turn up the volume on number 6,
yeah,
and it's not the right one.
Then it's not the right one.
Jorge, you're messing with the lighting. Dude, he's going to town over there.
I don't know what this button does over here.
Well, he can't talk, so I can do a sign to me in a little broken Spanish.
You got to be careful or he'll sign that.
It's like, no, only, no. Look at the cameras. The camera's blitzing out, dude.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. No, senor. No,
senor.
No. Too much fun, man. What were some of the highlights that you saw in the Charlie Kirk Memorial, Larry? Some of the things that really
well,
hit you.
I mean, all the speakers, all of them had touching things to say. Me being a Christian, I especially liked everybody's willingness to profess Christ, our Savior.
Yeah.
And, so many of them, I found it extremely impressive. And who shocked me, I think, was Don Jr.
Okay.
Because I didn't know that that he had such a...
strong faith?
Strong faith, yeah, exactly right. And I'm glad.
Yeah. You can tell the difference between people that have truly strong faith and those that have... that are not quite phoning it in, but they're trying to have strong faith. There's a difference between somebody who actually has strong faith and somebody who's trying to have strong faith.
Right, and I'm gonna be honest with you. They all came off as quite honest, and it was quite real. But I'll tell you who moved me the most, and you're not gonna be shocked by this. But that would be Erica Trump.
Erica Kirk.
Excuse me, Erica Kirk. I said Erica Trump again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Erica Kirk, which I sent you this.
Which one did you send me?
The stream. So if you pull it up and you go up, it's the third one I sent you. There's a Steven Crowder one that's on there.
Okay.
And then there's a press release we'll go over later.
Okay.
And then you'll see Erica
Number
Kirk.
3. All right, we'll play that one.
There she is right there. Now, this is the most moving thing I have ever heard in my life. This touched me deeper than anything.
My husband, Charlie, he wanted to save young men, just like the one who took his life. That young man, on the cross, our Savior said, "Father, forgive them, for they not know what they do." That man, that young man, I forgive him. I forgive him because it was what Christ did and is what Charlie would do. The answer to hate is not hate. The answer we know from the gospel is love, and always love. Love for our enemies and love for those who persecute us.
What an incredible...
My husband, Charlie, he wanted to...
what an incredible woman.
Absolutely.
She wears her faith on her shoulder. I don't...
Yeah.
I've talked to several people.
Yeah.
And I've talked with several ministers since that speech.
Yeah.
And everybody is at awe on her.
Mm-hmm.
That is a perfect example of what we're supposed to do.
And
I don't know that I could. 11 days after somebody senselessly slaughtered my wife,
yeah,
I could not be up there giving a speech like that.
Right.
I just couldn't be doing it. I just couldn't do it.
And there's so many stories like that of people that have, gone to the trials and communicated with people who've slain loved ones.
Yeah.
And you understand those stories, but those are many years removed. I think that it shows the strength of her character and the strength. I think she's exactly right. That's what Charlie would have done.
That's exactly what Charlie... And Charlie had this is proof. All right, not only did Charlie pick a great wife, right? He chose very wisely.
Right.
Right? And he's very lucky.
Yeah.
Right? But they're both the real thing.
100%.
They're both the real thing. This isn't... I mean, you're talking... They weren't married for 25 years. They weren't married for 30 years.
Right.
They're only married a few years. So they're still in the honeymoon phase of their marriage.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And she had to watch her husband be slaughtered.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that's something that's never going to go away.
Yeah.
It's going to be on the internet forever. Her kids are going to have to watch it.
Yep.
So she's going to have to prepare them.
Yeah. She did say in his mother post that she said, do you feel anger towards this man? Do you want to seek the death penalty? And she said, I'll be honest. Is that you, Larry? I'll be honest. I told our lawyer, I want the government to decide this. I do not want the man's blood on my ledger. Because when I get to heaven, like Jesus, I want to say an eye for an eye. How can we do that? And it keeps me. So according to that, some of the quotes that I heard that she was like, I don't want the death penalty. That's not what that quote says. That says, I want the government to decide this, which I believe that's the case. If she can forgive him, absolutely forgive, what the hell is his name? If he's proven to be the guilty one, Tyler Robinson. She can forgive him, and we can all forgive him, but that doesn't mean you're not held accountable for your actions.
Right.
I mean, that's a simple dynamic of you can be forgiven.
Sure.
That's why most of the time we send a priest or a pastor, minister in at the point of being executed for criminals.
Yeah.
That's, we avail that because we go, look, you're being punished, you're being held accountable and being punished justly for a crime you've committed. But that doesn't mean we remove the grace of you to be forgiven on your way out the door. What do you got?
Well, the next story up I wanted to talk about, but let me comment on what you just said because you're exactly right.
Yeah.
Even us Christians, right? You know, we profess Jesus Christ as our Lord and Savior.
Yep.
And we try and live a righteous life. We all fall short of the glory of God, right?
Right.
But we repent so we're forgiven for our sins. But we still die. Our bodies still die, and we go on to live with the Lord, right? Because what is the punishment for sin? Where the wages, right? The wages of sin is death.
Yep.
So our bodies go back to dust, but we go on to be with the Lord.
Yeah. So I mean, there's.
But I mean, so the punishment, yeah, she forgave him, and I heard that she also was asked what they wanted to happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you know, she washed her hands of it. That's up to the government. That's not. You know.
And that quote is better for me, what
Yeah.
we just read, than what some of the coverage was today, and what I was being told was that she was more like, they made it sound like she was coming out and saying, I do not want the death penalty. And that's not what that quote says.
Right.
That quote is, she's like, I don't want his blood on my ledger, but I'll let the government decide.
Yeah.
And
it's not, you know.
You think about it. If you watch your husband be assassinated, or in our case, a wife being assassinated in front of you, it's one thing for you to say, let the government duly convict him and try him and do all that. It's another thing for you to be the one that would be in the booth pulling the lever or administering the injection.
Right.
I think that's a long walk between the two.
Well, in Utah, don't they do firing squad executions?
I wish.
I think they do in Utah.
Yeah, that's I think they get a choice.
Okay.
I think they can choose lethal injection or firing squad.
Wow. That's interesting.
But I'm going to look it up, and I'll have that fact later in the show.
Okay.
Right, but
what's is it on the agenda here, Larry?
I do have breaking news out of Heartland.
Okay.
That I want to talk about. Can you bring up the press release that I sent you earlier on Facebook?
Yeah.
And then I'd like to get him on the phone if that's possible.
We can try it, Larry.
We will definitely try it. So, got this breaking story out of Heartland, Michigan. So, for immediate release, parent files federal civil rights. There we go. Now I can see it. Parent files federal civil rights complaint against Heartland Consolidated Schools, Heartland, Michigan. Alex Yarber, a parent in the Heartland Consolidated School District, has filed a federal complaint with the U.S. District of Education's Office for Civil Rights in the U.S. Department of Justice Civil Rights Division, alleging retaliation and viewpoint discrimination against his daughter following her public comments at a school board meeting.
Was this the most recent school board meeting?
No, this was...
The one that we covered a while back.
Yes, 2 years ago. A complaint asserts that Yarber's ninth
there it
grade
is.
daughter
Yeah.
was subject
November 2023.
to retaliation after speaking at a November 2023 board meeting in defense of traditional bathroom policies. Alleged retaliation including disparagement by a teacher, denial of district-sponsored statues for her proposed Turning Point USA Student Club, revocation of a Holocaust survivor educational event venue, and inconsistent explanations from school officials regarding club approval authority. Yarber contends that these actions reflect a broader, long-standing pattern of bias against conservative students and families within the district, often influenced by community activists hostile to Turning Point USA. The complaint cites past incidents involving labeling of conservative students as Nazis, political motivation smear campaigns, and unequal treatment of student groups. The filing requests federal investigation corrective measures and protections against further retaliation under Title IX. So that's what's going on in Heartland. And here, do we have a microphone that we can set by this, or do I just set mine?
I think you can just put it on speaker, and probably you should be able to
Just
not hold it too close
take
to your
yours
phone.
up and then
Yeah.
just put it by the phone speaker.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get him on the phone.
Okay. We're getting a hold of Alex Yarber.
So,
Just checked with Jorge over there. He's still working on the lighting. So while he's calling Alex, just so you guys know, we worked for a couple hours yesterday, and I worked over the weekend with new studio lights to try and get us squared away. And you can see behind me now, I'm that doesn't look good at all. Looks like I got the huge halo. All right, are we ready with Alex there?
hold
Larry?
on. I got my microphone shut
Just leave it
off.
there, buddy.
I'm going to,
No, you shouldn't need to do that.
Really?
Just leave it on your chest and put him on speaker.
Okay.
That's going to be way too loud, dude.
That's going to be way too loud.
Yeah.
All
Well,
right,
let's just
Alex,
test
you're
it
on the
at least.
air.
You ain't got it on speaker.
All right, go ahead, Alex. Hi.
Hey, everybody. Good evening.
Yeah.
Can you hear him
Did you turn
okay?
it back on?
Can you hear him okay now?
I think we can.
All right. What's this thing doing? Why is it doing this? On. There we go.
Okay. Leave it there.
All right.
All right, Alex.
Sorry about that, Alex. Having trouble with the microphone.
Oh, no, not a problem.
Whoa.
Told you it was going to
Yeah,
be too loud,
you
Larry.
did. He told me it was going to be loud, and I didn't believe you. Now I believe you.
Just put it-
I got to pull my eardrum out of my butt.
Yeah, so do the rest of the people out there. The hell, bro. All right.
All right, thanks for joining the show tonight, Alex. So, if I understand this right, yeah, your daughter was having some problems with boys using the girls' bathrooms at Heartland High School?
Yeah, well, I mean, that was a couple of years ago now, November of 23. It was kind of a hot topic around that time, and it kind of reached a point where, she would be occupying the women's girls' bathroom, and maybe half a dozen times by that point when a biological male would walk in on her. And, for obvious reasons, that was very bothersome.
Well, yeah.
And so, because the school kind of just like silently allowed this to happen. There was no, the parents weren't notified that, hey, we've changed our policy on this type of thing. It just happened. I mean, even my son, Michael, experienced the same thing, in the opposite way before he had graduated. So, so it was a topic that was hot in the community. My daughter, I give her credit for her bravery in speaking on such a sensitive topic as this, but she raised enough courage, enough guts to actually address the Board of Education about this subject. So that's that was her speech.
Well, she seems to be a very articulate young lady. I saw her speak a couple times. She spoke a couple times before the school board, right?
Yeah, she's times she has. That's right.
Yeah, and I believe she had some friends with her at other times. And I know parents spoke up about that too.
Yep. There were a handful of parents. Naturally that topic has kind of, de-escalated because of the administration we have now. So, we're in a better place with regards to that. But in the meantime, kind of what happened with that is that a couple of days later, and I'm assuming that you want me to go into the story here of how this transpired.
Yes,
Please.
sir. Please. Yes.
A couple of days later, she got a text message from a friend who indicated that the class that she was in, the teacher was talking about Anne Marie's speech. And the teacher was kind of surveying the class and asking if anyone saw the one girl at the board meeting talking about the bathrooms. And then the teacher confirmed that it was my daughter.
While she's sitting there in the class?
Well, my daughter. She got this information from a friend of hers who was in
Okay,
that
so she
class.
wasn't in the class that when they called it out.
No,
Right.
it was her friend's class.
Okay.
Right. It might even be, you think about it, she wasn't even there to defend herself, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But,
Makes it
so,
worse.
Yeah, so this was being discussed in a class of her peers without her presence. But the teacher ultimately, and again, this is based on reports, the teacher ultimately asked, she started quizzing individual students if they felt uncomfortable in the bathroom. And then this teacher went on so far as to state that she was ashamed that we don't have any gay teachers in Heartland. And that Amory's friend was telling her that the teacher was acting as though Amory was stupid. And then the teacher told the class that, well, my daughter, Amory, she says, well, that girl must not know any trans students, because if she did, she would know that they are the least likely kids to do anything.
Okay, least likely, huh?
Yeah, I believe I talked to some people on that and reported on that in the show.
Yeah, we covered it when that initial incident happened, Alex. I think you guys remember that, because we checked with you guys to see if you wanted to come on personally, and you guys declined that, which is fine. But at the time, I remember going over it on the show.
Yes.
And so I'm really glad that you. So what was the push, since this was a couple years ago? What was the final push for you to file this complaint?
Well, so the outcome of that whole thing was that we demanded an investigation, which we got, but instead of a $30,000 investigation by an independent law firm like certain board members that we know received, we had an in-house investigation by the school.
Okay.
And that in-house investigation indicated that there was no wrongdoing by the teacher. There was no retaliation. There was no harassment, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Of course.
But so that information was provided to us, I think, on December 1st of 23. Fast forward to January of 24, and we find out that teacher is no longer employed by the district. This teacher is not near retirement age, and so it kind of raises some questions in your mind.
Right? Did they shuffle them around, or find them a way out?
Yeah. What the heck is going on here? And did we get the shaft just for appearances, or what's happening here?
Right.
And you're not going to get any straight answers from that crew. So that raises a lot of questions.
Okay.
So it's weird, because around the same time, in December of 23, is when Amory first started putting together her Turning Point Club. And during the month of December of 23, she actually approached the administration of the high school to talk about the process for getting a club going. So they knew as early as December of 23 that, hey, this girl wants to do this club. Okay, great. So it's a data point.
Yeah.
I'm going to jump ahead to April of 24, and Amory was able to get in touch with a World War II Holocaust survivor who was a frequent speaker at the Holocaust Center in Farmington Hills.
Okay.
And she's going to bring this person into the community as a kind of a community service type event to allow them to talk about their experience, being in a concentration camp. It's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
So made arrangements to have this program hosted in one of the second auxiliary room of one of the centrally located elementary schools. And based on our information and based on our belief, there's a radical in our community who put a bug in the superintendent's ear about the fact that this event cannot be held because it's associated with Turning Point, which is founded by Charlie Kirk, who is a Nazi and a racist.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Of all people.
The primo venue that we were told we could use got yanked out from underneath us.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, you can go use the old high school in the back room next to the janitor's closet. That wasn't going to work.
Next to the janitor's closet.
Yeah, they reneged on the agreement, and we ended up ultimately finding another better venue, and it turned out to be a hugely successful event. So this is the kind of thing that I've got a 5-page complaint that details. I got a lot of receipts, and I spoke to the board last week on the 15th, and I said, I'm filing this complaint. I've got receipts. Get ready for it. And so I've done that. I filed on Monday. I sent my letter to both the Department of Education and the Department of Justice. And so that's kind of in a real high level summary where we're at now. There's a couple of other things that are going on that demonstrate a continued. We're given. Weak information, chastised for not following unwritten guidelines. There was a board member who chastised me and berated me for unsubstantiated claims she was making against me, and she couldn't believe that I was reaching out to her for help. I mean, you wouldn't believe some of the things that she said, and it's just incredible the way that parents and taxpayers are treated in a situation like this.
I wonder if that was the same school board member that called the police on me.
Well, it's probably on the short list, I would say. So, I just, this stuff's been going on for years, and it's just too much, and I think, I hate to say it, but when Charlie Kirk was assassinated, it made me realize that really we have been victims of a larger plan to target conservative people.
Oh, 100%.
And I've got, and unfortunately for the administration, we keep pretty good records, and we've got a lot of detailed information that we can use to throw in this complaint. And so it was really pretty easy to assemble all of the information.
I actually think it's bigger than that, buddy. I actually do. And it's not that they're that they're targeting conservatives; they're targeting Christians.
Well, I think there's a lot of truth to that, 100%. Because Charlie, as we all know, especially after you see all the TikToks coming out, he was probably one of the best Christian apologists that we've seen in our lifetimes, especially for younger kids in their lifetimes. And
yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised to see that the Catholic Church makes him a saint, even though he's not a Catholic. That would be my hope.
And people need to realize when you say Christian apologist, it doesn't mean you're apologizing for Christianity.
No, it means you have a very articulate. I remember watching one of my favorite Christian apologists in recent memories was Ravi Zacharias. You guys ever watch him?
No.
One of my favorites, Bob Duco.
Okay. Ravi was, I'd have to pull up a picture of him and some of his, but he was phenomenal at being very, very articulate. Great guy. He's recently passed, I think, in the last 5-6 years, something like that. But yeah, if you get a chance, look up Ravi. I'll pull it up on the screen for you guys. But continue, Alex, with so you filed this complaint just recently. How many? Just a little while ago.
I filed it on Monday.
On Monday. Okay. Yeah. So yesterday. Yeah. Okay. So it is breaking news. So I didn't know that Emery was involved in the Turning Point USA. So it's very, what will you say, very, it was very interesting to me, that dynamic. I did not know that. Of course, I like Charlie Kirk, and I like, every once in a while his stuff would pop up in my feed, but I didn't seek him out as somebody to go listen to.
Right.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah, and so, but I loved, when I did see stuff, I loved it.
Yeah,
I just didn't go out of my way
every day.
Yeah, I just didn't go out of my way to watch it. But to find out how big the organization is, how young he was, and how many young people he inspired is amazing. And then to find out your daughter is one of them, who then is speaking, speaking out about things happening in her school of her own volition. Of course, she's got great parents. So I mean that stands to reason. But to have an influence like Charlie in her life, how has it affected you guys? Obviously, this filing's very powerful, but how has it affected you guys, and specifically Anne-Marie, the assassination of Charlie? Have you guys talked about it? Obviously, watched the memorial on Sunday.
Oh yeah, we definitely watched that as a family. It's been devastating. I mean, it's and I've heard a lot of people say this. How they can't remember a time when they've ever felt so terrible about someone dying that they didn't know.
Yeah.
And that was us. And you feel bad because you look at how hard the guy. And I feel bad because I didn't give him enough credit. I guess my vision of him was the kid I saw when he was 18 years old on Fox News.
Okay.
Some kid who just didn't, was like trying to find his way. But so I didn't give him credit for the subsequent 13 years of his life that he studied the Bible. He studied the founding documents of our nation, and he was able to make arguments that were persuasive, but also was done so in a very respectful way. And he taught us all on how to engage without anger, without obviously with he never used violence.
Obviously, yeah.
But he gave us an example and a role model of a way to live your life, and it's almost Christ-like, he was a great witness to God and Jesus.
Yeah.
And I feel bad because I can relate so much to him, and I look up to him so much, and I just didn't follow. I didn't realize all the great things that he was saying.
Isn't that isn't that how legacies are though? A lot of times is that the greatness is not appreciated in the lifetime; it's appreciated after.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a shame.
It's a shame, but it's
both.
I mean, go back and read when I did the show a couple weeks. Well, Charlie was assassinated on Wednesday, and I did a show on Saturday. And one of the things I read in the midpoint of the show was I read out of Acts chapter 7 and the stoning of Stephen. And if you go back and just read through his sermons, one of the most powerful historical summations of the Israeli nation that you could bring up. And for him to do that in the midst of all of these Pharisees that are there to question him at the least, and then who end up stoning him to death. And of course, Saul is there, Saul of Tarsus, before he becomes the Apostle Paul many years later. I think that was the catalyst. I think that we're going to have a lot of Saul of Tarsus moments of people that were there cheering on the assassination of Charlie, and later come to this realization of how wicked and evil that was. But going back to what you were describing there, Alex, I think the dynamic for me is not just him studying the historical documents and of course the scriptures, but also how common sense articulate he was in his debate technique or his response to people. And I think of that, one of the things he's been vilified for is he says a little bit of gun violence is justified. And when you actually go back and you read through the comment, he said 50,000 people are killed on the roads every year from automobiles. We're not getting rid of automobiles. We understand that there is a reasonable loss of life that we're going to endure by using that product, that vehicle, that automobile on the roadways. So we're not getting rid of automobiles because we lose people. We accept that loss. Do we like it? No. Do we want it? No. But we accept it. And he said the same thing with gun violence is with a society that has the right to self-defense and the ultimate self-defense against our own government, we're going to endure a certain level of gun violence that we don't like, but we have to accept it if we're going to be a gun-carrying society.
And that's a completely different thing than
100%.
What he said, yeah.
But they couch it and make it out to be this, gun violence and a few deaths every year is acceptable. That's not what he said in the context. In the context, he said, we accept deaths in all these areas of life because, okay, if we got rid of vehicles, would that be that many stop people? And the reality is there's more deaths from fentanyl, there's more deaths from all sorts of other innocuous things other than drug overdoses that kill people every year in staggering numbers beyond gun violence. And we never put that in the same category of lethality and outrage because it's not a hot button ticket. But I like that, you saw that dynamic. And I think he will be appreciated, obviously,
definitely,
throughout his life.
So, Alex, was there anything else you wanted to say in regard to the complaint filed and your daughter and, the Heartland schools?
There's a lot more to it than this. I'm going to say that. There's other things that have taken place in our community that we're all three of us are very intimate with that I think had an influence on the attitude of treatment that we received. So this complaint includes direct examples and linkage between some of those broader community events and how it had an impact on decisions being made at the school level. There could be some other things here. I don't know if it's more than just civil rights. I'm not sure. I guess we'll leave it up to the federal government to make that determination. But I'll throw out one thing. A number of months ago this year, there was a hit list that came out.
Okay.
And my wife and I were on that hit list, and a couple of county commissioners, a couple of at least one school board member, and even the county sheriff was on that list.
Wasn't there a local podcast co-host on there too?
Yeah, Larry. You're right. There was a podcast co-host on there.
Yeah. Yeah. Notice the host didn't make that list.
Yeah.
Just the co-host who stirs the shit.
You're just not a gangbanger.
I guess not. I'm not a trucker either.
It's just kind of scary. You think back and again with the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and there's so much information coming out, and it's like, well, how do you know what's true, what's real, what's not?
Yeah.
But one of the first reports that came out, and I'm not sure if this has necessarily been dismissed, is that he was assassinated by somebody who was involved in a relationship with a transgender.
Yes.
And that seems to be kind of a common thread in some of these violent acts.
I think the last 20 shooters have been transgender.
Yeah, say it again, I'm sorry.
I think the last 20 shooters have been transgender.
Okay, yep, 100%.
Yeah.
It's it's a concern. It's just a concern.
Well, we stopped labeling them as having a mental disorder, and we labeled them as being justified in whatever tweak they got going. And that's not a satisfying thing to them. When you have a mental disorder, you are driven by certain demonic forces, you don't just get accepted in your mental disorder and then assimilate to society in that mental disorder. You keep going down. You keep going down that road of depression and delusion to the point of, reading the diary of that latest trans shooter there at the Catholic Church in, was that Minnesota?
I think you're...
Yeah, you read through that thing and watch the videos. That person they went down this road, wanted to transition, parents signed off on the transition, and then kept going down the road and saying, that didn't do it, that didn't fix me, I hate the fact that I mutilated my body, and I hate the fact of this and hate the fact of that, and now I'm going to take people out because of my own pain, and this is the Christians, I'm going to choose them as my target because I hate them too.
Man.
And it's disturbing.
It sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I can share, Larry,
sure.
If I can share one other thing, in December of 23, kind of what led up to Anne Marie's decision to start a Turning Point Club it coincided with it, was that she got invited to America Fest out in Phoenix.
Okay.
And I was able to go with her, but at that event, it was an incredible event, and on the very last day, Charlie Kirk gave a speech, and he quoted Isaiah 6:8. Then I heard the voice of the Lord saying, "Whom shall I send?
Yeah.
And who will go for us?"
Yeah.
And I said, "Here I am, send me." And that had such an impact on my daughter, and this is another reason why I love Charlie Kirk. It had such an impact on my daughter that she repeated that quote when she spoke at the Howell Vigil.
Yes,
Okay.
she did.
Yeah.
She did.
And then Sunday during the memorial service,
Yeah, didn't Erica say it?
Erica Kirk referenced
Yeah.
that, and she was saying how that Charlie saying that really caught her off guard, and it worried her, because he was basically saying, Lord, I'm yours. I will do whatever you want. Take me. And it's just a really powerful thing.
Absolutely.
So, I mean,
Absolutely.
It's been a great thing for young men and for young kids in particular. And I mean, look at if you went to that vigil, the average age I think was kind of up there, but we did see a lot of kids. But we saw a lot of.
I'll tell you when.
moms today.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you when Larry and I were there at. Were you there at the Brighton one as well on Sunday night?
Yeah, I went to that one too with Amber.
Yeah, that we saw a ton of young people, and the two little girls that ended up debating the one little protester, the one lady protester. They were both young. Young ladies, to the point that their parents were there, and they were extremely articulate and simply asking questions and trying. And I found it to be very refreshing. But there was a lot of younger crowd that I saw in the Brighton. But yeah, I think Charlie, being 31 and doing what he did, I think he touched all demographics. You saw all people turn out because his message resonated, because it was a message of truth and common sense and love coming from the heart of God. That it touches everybody. It doesn't, at that point, demographics don't matter. It touches everybody.
Yeah, that's for sure. So, did you get to meet Charlie?
No, I mean,
I know your daughter did. I know your daughter met him twice, right?
Yep, she met him twice. I've been close to him, but I've not, never shook his hand or talked to him. Mm-hmm. But I had opportunities. That's the other thing. You see these folks, and you just never know.
And to find somebody like that, that's larger than life, but when you meet him personally, in reality, he's extremely personable, and that's what all the testimonies coming out is how personable he was, and how much the amount of people that he would call and encourage, or text and encourage on a regular basis, that they would go. I was amazed that he just would send me a text and say, "How you doing today?"
Yeah, down to earth.
Yeah,
down to earth.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's that you kind of dream that you'll have a friend like that, or a famous person who is like that. I mean, it's you definitely can connect
100%
with them.
100%.
So so that's the story. I mean, I'm hoping that something good comes out of this. I'm hoping that the federal government responds in a timely manner.
With what Trump's doing with the Department of Education and looking to ultimately dissolve it, but having McMahon, what's her first name?
Linda.
Oh, yeah.
Linda McMahon being in there and basically working her way out of a job and trying to dismantle that Department of Education. I think we're going to see a lot of fundamental changes, and this is yet another arrow, in the quiver that's striking at the heart of the beast. And hopefully we can make some changes. So, well, we appreciate you so much, Alex, coming on the show or calling in. discussing this with us. Make sure you keep Larry updated, and we'll definitely share with everybody out there as this goes forward. This complaint of, I mean, it's really it does rise to civil rights and fair treatment. And for so long we've overextended these privileges and rights and protections to people who are really mentally ill at the cost of the kids who are just there to get an education and be well-rounded. And so, you as a strong parent, you and Angela there, standing up for Anne-Marie and being able to file this, I commend you and appreciate that work. I don't have kids in school anymore, so it has to be those on the front lines that have kids in the schools that file these things with the justifiable. If it hadn't been an incident, you wouldn't be filing, but they tried to call her out and opposed her in the school board meetings. And
Well, they're cowards.
They are.
They're cowards. I told them such. I stood up and spoke to them about it.
You're on the list, Larry.
Larry's
So I
been
don't
a
know.
great supporter of our efforts, and we appreciate it very much.
I'm a great supporter of a very. I look at a young lady like your daughter, and I feel better about humanity.
100%.
And that's the truth. When I see a brave 14-year-old girl taking on a school board and standing up for what is right,
Yeah.
she got nothing but respect for me.
100%.
And I did stand up there and let them know how I felt about that situation as a taxpayer.
Yeah.
And at the time, I had grandkids in the school.
Yep.
You did, Larry. I remember your speech, and I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Because it can be lonely up there when you're the only one talking about a concern in the community.
Yeah.
And so it's great to have like-minded people there that day.
All right.
Well, and I've got now have 3 grandkids that have been in Heartland for over a year. So I do have a vested interest, and I may have to come speak at a thing, but I appreciate everything that you guys do there in the community, your whole family there, and you're doing a great job, Alex. And we appreciate you coming on the show. And hopefully I'll see you guys soon. We got the big birthday party coming up. You saw that on Facebook.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, so hopefully I'll see you guys then. If not, I'll see you soon. But thanks for coming on the show.
I heard Ted Nugent was coming to your birthday party.
Is he?
That's what I heard.
Is he going to play Stranglehold? Because I'll sing.
He might.
I'm going to sing the hell out of that song.
He might.
Yeah, buddy. All right, thanks, Alex. We appreciate you coming on, buddy. We'll talk to you soon, okay?
Alex Yarber, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right. How's the lights? How's the cameras and lights doing there? Jorge is at a loss. You know what keeps that? He keeps resetting the lighting for the camera.
Yeah.
Working really hard at fixing the aperture and the focal point and the exposure and
You're
all
gonna
this
have to
stuff.
send him a couple
and then it doesn't save. As soon as we switch the camera to something,
it doesn't save.
It doesn't save it. So we're trying to figure that
Well,
out.
we're gonna have to send him some extra tacos or something.
I offered him some.
I could make
some
my
chicken wings.
famous taco dip.
You could. Very famous taco dip. I don't know. We could get him some. What was churrero? What's the one they wrap inside
Get him
of the?
some fish sticks.
Is that a gay fish joke?
I don't know. Fish sticks.
Fish sticks? You like fish sticks?
I heard that Jorge really likes fish sticks.
He likes fish sticks?
He loves fish sticks.
Fish sticks in his mouth?
He likes fish sticks?
You're a gay fish.
You like fish sticks in your mouth?
Yeah, he likes fish sticks.
And that's how we end up.
I remember we played that South Park song, and Larry was just like baffled.
He had no clue because he doesn't pay attention.
I don't watch South Park.
There.
too woke?
Yeah, John Bovey's commenting fish sticks in the chat. Of course, Jeffrey Amayo had to tune in a very serious, not that Alex can't get a joke, but while Alex was talking about Anne-Marie and filing this complaint, he said, if I see a Turning Point kid, I choke them out and sue you all. So that's what Jeffrey Amayo likes to say there. And then, of course, John Bovey earlier there was saying, Turning Point Club watches the Diary of Anne Frank before every meeting. Referencing back to the fact that Charlie Kirk was a very strong supporter of Israel up until the last 2 months, where he then confessed that he felt Israel might come after him because he was calling out Netanyahu in the stand down there on October 7th last year and all that stuff.
I don't think it.
I don't think it was Israel.
I don't
at
think
all.
it was Israel. I think that's a little bit. I think that's
Yeah.
stretching it quite a bit.
Well, the two don't have to be exclusive to each other.
Well,
for him to say that Israel could take me out because I'm now speaking against it, the government, not the Israeli people.
I just think that everything doesn't have to be have multiple conspiracies. You know, you can
100%.
talk about conspiracies, but I don't think everything has to be that stretched out.
Correct.
If Mossad really wanted to do it, they do it so discreetly and wouldn't risk have a shooter there.
It'd be a break-in in his house. It'd be something like that. You know,
It'd be like what's the
or
DNC?
swatting.
The DNC guy. Guy. What was his name? Seth Richard? Not Seth Richard.
yeah.
Seth Richards?
No, Seth Rich.
Seth Rich. Yep, Seth
Yeah.
Rich.
Now he only shot himself twice in the suicide attempt, right?
No, I thought he got robbed or something like that.
Or was
but
that he wrecked his car?
No, he got
Let's
robbed,
pull it up.
but they
Larry,
didn't take anything.
Larry, are you pulling it up or I got to pull it up? You know, Teddy, you got a computer in front of you. What the hell am I doing?
Yeah.
It's the host of this show. Seth Rich. Who's going to get there first? Firth?
Who's the first one there?
First one there.
Who's the first one there?
Shot in the back, an attempted robbery.
Yeah.
But,
after being shot twice in the back, and they ruled it a suicide. They ruled it a murder.
They ruled it a murder, but they were saying it was a robbery, and I don't think like any of his stuff was stolen.
Not a thing was stolen.
And nobody remembers it now.
Nobody remembers Seth Rich. And who was Seth Rich?
He was DNC.
He was Hillary Clinton's lawyer.
Was he?
I'm looking it up, dude, right now. I'm looking up the murder of Seth Rich, but he was right-wing conspiracy theories. Look at this shit. Right 27-year-old Rich was employed by the DNC, and his murder spawned several right-wing conspiracy theories, including false claims contradicted by law enforcement branches that investigated the murder, and Rich was involved in leaked DSC emails in 2016. It was also contradicted in a July 2018 indictment of 12 Russian military intelligence. Oh, there's Russia's in there.
We got to get to that.
Who did Rich work for here? Let's see. It wasn't just the DNC. Oh, wait. He was involved in Jewish outreach. Oh, shit. Then he at least... he went to the bar, and then he got shot.
He worked for the DNC and computer.
Yeah, but there was... I want to say there was a direct connection to Hillary Clinton. But I was trying to find it. I could be, the Clinton body count is quite expansive, and you get muddied in how many people that
I don't even know. I just know that one guy shot himself in the back of the head and then got up. And
I just want to acknowledge Jorge is leaving, and thank you for all your work, Jorge. I appreciate you, buddy.
We love you, Jorge.
I mean,
you're very special.
You did everything you could. The taco vouchers for your fees on the counter.
Hasta luego, Jorge.
He's like, I can eat tacos anytime.
Hasta
I
luego.
want a fucking steak.
Yeah.
Cook you a steak next time, buddy.
Steak tacos.
Fish tacos. Fish sticks.
Fish sticks?
Fish sticks.
sticks.
With the sour cream on the fish sticks.
Sour cream. Yeah, I'm trying to find out. I don't want to confuse these because I don't want to lead our people astray.
We're already quite behind. We got sidetracked by Larry.
That was good. He warned me that he might do something.
Something unexpected and off the cuff, and generally not allowed on this
not
show.
following my agenda
we
here.
have an agenda.
Larry's the one that tells me. Larry
me-
goes, we should bring this so-and-so person. They'll help us stay on track more. I'm like,
Me and you planned out the agenda before Larry showed up an hour late. Not an hour late, but
okay. So
Well,
let's
next time you got to give me the agenda so I can approve it.
Was that how it works?
Okay, I might not have to approve it, but at least I should know what it is.
Acknowledge it. Maybe read it. Just. John Bobby, oy vey. 9/11 went by the memorial. It's been 24 years.
Yes.
24 years, and I had a thing like this. Let me pull this. I don't know what this is. Veterans Life. Let's see what this is. 9/11. 24 years later, memory service and why a nation still remembers, because it was a very tragic event. The problem is how we remember it. I remember quite quickly the anomalies coming out on this, and I was there, you know, cheering as most of the country was in a fervor, and then quickly I ended up being one of the ones that in my circle started to say, I don't think this is on the up and up, guys, you know.
Well, we're kind of getting into, we're going to probably go in that too a little bit, but 24 hours are probably going to get ourselves into a worse conflict with a proper military, and I don't think we will be ready for that.
What are you saying, Teddy?
Well, what I'm saying is that...
You're looking for a false flag again on our soil?
No, what I'm saying is that people, you could say the president or the people around him are doing a massive flipping the switch or flip-flop.
Oh, that's
As I was saying, we'll talk about it later, but...
Yeah. That's the flip-flop on Ukraine. We're gonna get to that. Give me your anything on your insights on 9/11, Larry. What's the first thing that comes to mind when you think of 9/11 and the attacks?
Gosh, the loss of life.
Almost 3,000.
Yeah, Americans that were just living their day. They go to work, and you know they all have families, and they're just at their job, and they're sitting just like we are right now, doing their job.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, a plane strikes their building.
Uh-huh.
You know, and they can't go down if they were below where the plane hit.
110 stories, and one plane hit at 83rd story.
83rd story.
And the other one hit at 78, something like that.
Yeah. So everybody above that.
Yeah, they're trapped.
And they're trapped. They had no place to go, and some people were jumping off the building, if you remember that.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And there was, I believe it was the numbers upwards of 600 plus firefighters and police officers that lost their life in that almost 3,000.
Sure.
It's 27 something.
Yeah. What about the ones that got sick after that and died of cancer?
100%.
And are people suffering still today? These people that were
the
heroes,
dust was so toxic.
Yeah. People that were heroes that charged into a collapsing building.
Yep.
As it collapsed. Some people charging into it as it was falling, thinking about everybody else but themselves.
Yeah, the funny thing is, I haven't published this, but years ago, in my band, my band was called Pitch 13. We actually my guitar player wrote the music, and I wrote the lyrics and sang it. The song was called Fireman.
Yeah.
And the premise of it is I want to be a fireman, and it was the central point of it, who rushes into buildings, and it was surrounded about that idea of 9/11 and those who went into the buildings.
Yeah.
You know, when I think one of the lines I wrote was who rushes into a building where only angels fear to tread. You know, while everybody else is fleeing that location, the fireman goes in to rescue. You know, and that's what they're trained for. So it's a very impactful thing. Teddy, what did you being a young man, what did you grow up thinking about? You're 23?
Yeah, I was born a few months after 9/11.
Okay.
So
I remember calling my first wife at the time, and my kids were all in elementary school.
My dad the only thing I remember, like, kind of personal about 9/11 is my dad was at work that day, and he was just outside the plant for lunch, and one of his friends noticed how they found out about, I think, 9/11, or they noticed how there were no planes in the sky.
Yeah.
So that's all.
Okay. Have you done any study on 9/11 since then?
Like in terms of what actually happened?
Watched a few documentaries.
Oh yeah, yeah. Every
You ever watch Loose
You know, we
Change
watched
or
like 9/11. When I was in school, the 9/11 was still kind of a really big deal when it happened.
Okay.
Nowadays, I know, like.
Well, 24 years later.
I know, 24 years later, but I remember when I was growing up, they do Moment of Silence and all that, and the first hour, first couple hours doing 9/11 documentary and
Okay.
all that. But it's amazing.
What was the documentary on?
Just about the attacks and how they
The
the
main
timeline and all that, and just kind of it's like PBS kind of
the main government narrative.
like cookie cutter stuff.
Yeah.
That's what public schools.
I remember watching the first Loose Change and then multiple different documentaries by architects and engineers for 9/11 Truth.
There were some good ones that I remember watching. I was like 12, 13, on the military channels, American Hero channels now or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
The military channel had a couple. They were talking about the Saudis and all that.
Yeah.
And,
Okay.
they were more going into the Saudi connection more than anything else, which.
Yeah, I still remember that day. I was on a job site. I was in between my own. I had shut down my company stuff, and I was working for a buddy of mine. And I was on a job site, and we normally, whoever was in charge of the radio, we would put it on like 7:60 a.m. for the morning part of the show. If we didn't want to listen to the regular morning talk shows or the morning dick and fart jokes on the rock and roll station, we would put it on the AM station, and at least we'd get a little bit more highbrow news and commentary. And I remember somebody just didn't get over there to switch it to the rock and roll station at a certain point, and I think somebody was headed over to change the radio to rock and roll when they broke in with the announcement that a plane had hit the towers, and then we're all glued to the radio. And then I immediately called my first wife, and I said, "Are you watching the news?" And she said, "Yeah, what's going on?" And we're like, I don't think we're on the phone, but it was between the phone call when the second plane hit.
Yeah.
And so I didn't see it in live time like a lot of people, but I was listening to it.
I didn't see it either. I was working for the same company that I work for now.
Okay.
And it came over the radio in my dump truck.
Okay.
And we were excavating in a parking lot that belonged to some offices for Beaumont Hospital.
Okay.
And it was right at, right where the lodge ends, right there at Orchard Lake Road.
Okay.
It's right where it dead ends. It was right off the kitty corner.
Mm-hmm.
And I pulled in, and I deliberately blocked the backhoe so he couldn't dig no more. I kind of pulled up right alongside of him, and my boss comes up like, "Dude, what are you doing?" I opened the door, I turned off the truck, and I turned on. I said, "World War III just started."
Right.
Because that's what I believed.
Yeah.
And he looks at me, he says, "What?" I said, "The Sears towers, they're gone."
No, trade towers.
Or trade towers, sorry.
Yeah.
They're gone. The twin towers. And everybody got out, got around my truck, and we listened to the radio.
Okay.
Everything
Was it 760 or was it 950?
I think it was AM 1270 WXYT
1270.
at the time.
Yeah.
I believe that's what it was at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And I picked up my phone and I called my wife. Now, at the time, she was a director at Garden City Hospital. So I call her up, and she's in a medical seminar. And she's like picking up the phone saying, "Shh, hey, I'm in a seminar. You can't be calling me here."
And you go,
"Shh, shh." I'm like, "Honey,
shit just hit the
you
fan."
need to get out in the parking lot right now and listen to me." I said, "You need to walk outside of that seminar and listen to me." And she gets up, she says, what's going on? And I told her,
Yeah.
and she's listening to me, and I know she's like in shock because she's not saying anything. And that's when the whole seminar let out, and people started pushing up TVs all around them. They turned on the TV and watched the towers fall. Just
Yeah.
some time to watch the towers fall.
That's wild.
And it was and she was crying.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was crying, and I said, "You just need to go home.
Right.
You need to go home. You need to sit in the living room, where we know we're safe until we figure out as a country what's going on right now."
Yeah. When the second tower was hit.
Yep.
That's when I called my wife back and I said, "Go get the kids from school. I don't care. Go get them from school and get them home."
Yep.
And I'm on my way home.
Yep. Yeah, that was not a good day, and I will remember that day always.
I remember exactly where I was.
And I will remember September 10th, 2025 always.
Because that's when your daughter passed, right? Why? I don't remember.
Charlie Kirk.
Oh, September 10th.
Yes.
You just said 2020. You said 2025?
25.
Yeah, he said September.
My bad.
Yeah. No, I'll remember that day too. The day my
Your
daughter
daughter
passed.
passed,
Yep,
yeah.
I'll remember that day too.
What's
I'm
that
not going to
date?
tell anybody because I don't. You guys.
No,
I'll
what was
tell.
that date though?
It was October 15th.
Okay, so I was
It's-
off.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah, it was.
That's
was
why I
October
correlated it because I
15th.
knew it was in the. I
Yeah.
was trying to think of that it was in the fall.
Yeah, she was a month shy.
No, I don't think. I think many people were. You called me almost immediately after I got the notification. Somebody sent me something immediately,
Yeah.
and I clicked on Right Side Broadcast, and you called me while I was listening to Right Side Broadcast,
Yeah.
and you said, "Did you hear?" And I said, "I'm listening to Right Side right now, dude."
Yeah.
You know, and Right Side was covering the.
Well, a kind of more significant thing, what I think, is we were all together when Trump got shot.
Yeah, we were here. We had
we
a
were
party
all
here.
We were all here. We had the party there.
Yeah.
I was at a wedding. Remember?
Was it? Were you?
Yeah, I was at a wedding up north.
Right.
So a friend of ours got married, and we were at a wedding, and I'm standing around, right? I go and get 2 drinks, one for me and one for my wife, and I look around, and everybody in the whole building, everybody's like this, with a look like this on their face.
Yeah.
Everybody. I look on the dance floor.
Yeah.
People on the dance floor got their phone in front of them. I'm like, well, what
What are you
the
doing?
heck what are you doing?
Well, what we had-
I pull my phone out and I look.
Trump shot in Butler.
Yeah, Trump shot in Butler. And I'm like, oh.
Well, Joe Farkas was on the show, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Joe had organized, he asked me on a regular basis. In fact, there's something in late October that they're going to have here. But Joe will do a thing with a lot of delegates or conservatives in the county here specifically. And Joe was hosting a party that day. That was last summer. And, or I was hosting here at the Man Cave, but he was throwing a party. And I don't know what I did, but I came in. They were already here, and I must have done something. I come back in, and they go, "President's been shot," and we had already. I think we already were streaming.
We were. I think it was
Did we have to run out and get something?
No, I think we heard about it a little bit right after because the network we put on CNN, and they weren't talking about it until a couple minutes later.
But weren't we gonna watch the Butler speech?
I thought we were going to watch the football game.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, I thought we were watching the football game, and then that someone was saying Trump got shot. And we switched over, and they weren't covering. CNN wasn't covering for a minute.
Yeah,
so
we had to go to Right Side or something like that.
you had the TV, and you had you had 9 different channels split screened on the TV. Or it was 4, or
We have these moments in our lives that are very significant, these different dates and these different events, and I think they hold they're catalysts for change. They're catalysts. I mean, on the negative side, that's what Rahm Emanuel said, is you never want to let a good crisis go to waste. But on the positive side, look at the positive outpouring and people that have turned back to the Lord watching this horrible assassination of Charlie Kirk, and everybody's trying to dissect it and figure out this and figure out that and do all these things. And I think we just need to, take a minute, take a pause, take a minute and say, what did this mean to me? How did this affect me? As Alex was saying on the phone, and there was a lot of other people that echoed this sentiment that they're saying, I didn't even know this person personally. Anne-Marie met him a couple of times, and Alex had been at some events, but then you see that person.
Well, you see, I was doing stuff. I was working on stuff at a different place Wednesday, and then my buddy in a group chat said something like Charlie Kirk got shot, and I had to double check. I was like, wait, what? I thought, it was like some kind of like joke or something. And then a little bit later, I see the video.
Yeah.
Oh, and I don't know if you guys saw the video when they were going around that day.
Yeah.
But you could tell from the video. You don't have to be like an expert. You could just tell.
You knew he was gone.
He was gone.
Yeah.
Just like that was like it was the first time in a while I was like genuinely shocked.
Yeah.
By something. I was just shocked, like kind of like a random, chaotic moment, right? Because you have all these other things that can be built up, and you can expect something like that to happen, but like just something like that with Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
Just shocked because he's young. He thought he was going to be around for a while. He thought he was like going to be.
To be taken out in that most horrible. What's the best descriptive of it? I mean, it was
brutal.
It was brutal and demonic. The way that he was.
Well, and then you could see like the old guy, and then the one guy right by looking up at the sniper and cheering too, and you see the reactions, like you were saying, the unmasking.
Yeah.
And it's just like.
Yeah, now people are going crazy. They're looking at different things and they're going, "Oh, the guy behind him had a gun too." And it's like you zoom in and it's a water bottle. Oh, this guy, and there was a gun inside the camera.
I will say that the hand signals are a little bit
correct. But then if you go back to multiple other Charlie Kirk events, his protection team is doing hand signals the whole time, pointing out different people in the crowd that they need to check out. It was not, they're focused in on that moment in time where they're doing a hand signal as if it's a sign to somebody, but those protection teams are communicating the entire time in an event.
Yep. I just think the biggest lesson kind of Trump and then Kirk is that you can have protection, but if you're outdoors,
yeah,
surrounded by high rise or whatever, no matter how much protection you have,
get the glass.
You got to get the glass, or you just do stuff indoors.
Well, and again, when we were there in Brighton last Sunday, a week ago Sunday, Larry was shooting that video. What are you up to, Larry? 6,000, 7,000? On that live stream?
It was over 8 last time I looked.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 8,000 views on that, over 8,000. But one of the things I had him do was I said, focus up there and hit the drones that were flying by. And then talking with my one buddy who was actually there, police officer was actually there. I won't say too much because I don't want to reveal him, but he was up there, in a certain location. And later on, Larry, remember I pointed out when I was pointing out
the snipers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was one of my buddies.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. I was like, dude, were you up here at this spot? And he's like, yeah, I was standing there. You were wearing a hat with this on? He goes, yeah. I goes, dude. I didn't, because he was wearing a hat and stuff, I didn't recognize him. I'm like, all right, yeah, that was you. Anyway, so it's very interesting. What he said to me was that we have probably 4 times the amount of police presence and surveillance for a crowd of 2,000-3,000 in Brighton than what Charlie had at a campus of, how many were there? 40, 50?
Yeah.
1,000? How many people were there at that
event?
I saw it was like 80,000, close to 80,000.
Yeah.
Not for the memorial, but for where he got shot.
Oh, a couple hundred?
Yeah, no, it was like 4.
They packed that whole bowl.
Yeah, I think it's 4,500, 5,000.
Okay.
I don't know how big it was. I'm pretty sure.
Can you look up Charlie Kirk's say this, the amount of people at Utah Valley, the amount of people in attendance at Utah Valley when Kirk was assassinated? That should bring up the number pretty easy.
I will look that up.
Yes, we did watch the Trump. I'd watched the Trump UN address.
See, I like how I search up Utah, Charlie Kirk. How many people were at Charlie Kirk UVU event?
Yeah.
Just only tells me about the memorial.
Yeah, you got to say the assassination.
3,000. Okay.
Oh, so 3,000.
So I had to do, instead of
So
UVU,
if we figure
I had
what
to
we
use-
had about 2,000 at Brighton. I don't know if it was that many. How much do you think how many think were in attendance at Brighton?
I wasn't there.
Me, 2,500 to 3,000 because I know
Okay.
there had to be close. There had to be close to 2,000 in Howell when I was there.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, so just
So
let's
we
take
were-
those numbers, and we had, for an event where people were just doing a memorial without the expectation, we had one loony lady, but without the expectation of any real hostiles.
Yeah.
Now you take Charlie to a place that is a college campus with a bunch of furries and other alphabet
Hostile
mafia
territory.
hostile people.
That's
and we had 4 times the
That's what I
amount
was
of
saying.
police presence.
You're in a hostile territory, outside, limited private security, surrounded by high rises. So, I mean, I hate to talk ill of Charlie or anything
Right.
like that, but that was not the best thing to do.
Well, look at Trump and Butler.
That's what I'm saying. But
Trump and Butler had
Secret Service. All,
Yeah,
you
but
know.
he didn't. It was shit. When you got a 4-foot chick standing in front of you that can't get her gun out of her holster properly, when she's trying to protect the president.
Yeah. How does a 4-foot chick
Come on.
protect a 6'2"?
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
And I don't think she
guy.
could run either. She was a little thick. I don't know how well she could run.
Yeah, that's why I'm opposed.
Well, I remember someone posted in a Facebook group that a lot of the Secret Service details is directed towards Joe Biden speaking in Pennsylvania at the same time.
Well, they did that. They also deferred a bunch of people to Jill Biden being at an event. There was some deferments where they sent them to other events. But that's why, you live and learn, hopefully.
Well, that's because Joe Biden had a record audience at his event of 3 people showing up.
Were they in the circles?
Not a joke,
like
everybody. That's why we were
circle.
defeated in 2018 when they tried to do it. We went to 54 states.
54 states. He went to 54 states.
54 people. That's a lot of people, man.
Hey, man.
That's,
come on, man.
You know, that's the amount of people like they have states. 54 people came to my rally.
Listen, man.
You know,
it's not a joke.
Look, fat, and that's what America's all about.
It's 54 states, man.
Look.
It's not a joke.
When we, President of Russia, Zelensky.
Yeah. 54 states, man. It's not a joke. You know what? The sound might have gotten reset on these.
We have that rumble freeze and the mixer or the
No,
sound.
just on this computer. Every time there's an update on stuff,
it screws everything up.
Dude.
This is my brain on a
I
Tuesday
resist-
night technology rant.
Dude, it's ridiculous. Now Bovey and Tim Allen are going back and forth. I don't know what that is. CJK?
Charlie James Kirk.
Oh, should we book Charlie Kirk
Peace marches.
peace marches for? Yeah.
Well, if we
maybe
if this
I mean,
if
this
brings any proper organization to our side, then we'd have it.
We celebrate Martin Luther King. I wonder what the production detail now is for Erica.
Don't know. I would say substantial, maybe.
Yeah. So that was.
Well, hang on.
Yeah.
Rabbi Shmuley. Oh. Come on, he took all the private security. He needed the security.
Butt plug Shmuley?
Rabbi Shmuley.
Butt plug Shmuley?
Hey guys, my friend Charlie Kirk got shot, but can you please give money to me?
Butt plug Shmuley? If you guys don't know what we're talking about, Rabbi Shmuley also has a sex toy store that he promotes all the time where they sell butt plugs. I'm working on making sure I got a good flow, a good movement every morning, and he's selling things that bottleneck that up. I don't get it. I mean, shit happens, and you just need to let it happen. So
I don't want to know what a butt plug is for. I really don't.
Well, the furries know a lot about because they use a butt plug with a tail on it.
Why did you have to tell me that? I just said I didn't want to know.
All right, let's do this one. Jimmy Kimmel back on. Nobody gives a shit, and nobody wants to carry it. None of the affiliates want to carry his.
Who's this Jimmy Kimmel?
Jimmy Kimmel. He's the one that bashes Republicans because he gets his talking points from Chuck Schumer, and.
Isn't he the guy that used to be funny a long, long time ago?
No.
I don't think he was ever funny.
I don't think he was ever funny. You know what?
Didn't he do the
Man Show?
The Man Show?
The Man Show.
Yeah, where he would say like outrageous things to women.
He was like far more chauvinistic than the two brothers. What's the that are accused of it right now? Right-wing guys that are misogynist, not misogynistic. Chauvinistic. I'm gonna tip my brain. T starts with a T.
This is Jeremy's brain, folks.
It's glitching.
Dale says, "Now you know, Larry."
I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
They just got accused of trafficking women.
Tates.
Tates. Thank you. Started with a T. Tates. Andrew Tate.
Taint.
Andrew Tate in his broadcast doesn't hold a candle to the Man Show. Now, here's the difference, okay? The Man Show is an American sketch comedy television show from Comedy Central that aired from 1999 to 2000, so 5 years, with Adam Carolla and Jimmy Kimmel. The Man Show celebrated and lampooned the stereotypical lutish male perspective on sexually charged humorous light. No, this is Wikipedia reframing this shit. Because every show ended with a segment of girls on trampoline. There, look it. Even shows, it just shows a regular trampoline? No. These are girls on trampoline, and it was all about the tits bouncing as they bounced on the thing. And it was very chauvinistic and no big deal about it. But Adam Carolla has since transitioned from that. And you know what he does now? He does dry bar comedy, and he goes on conservative podcasts and talks about his stuff. Where did Kimmel go? He went to be a leftist shill. But both of them are on a show where they celebrated not exploitation, but at least hot chicks is what their thing was, and being,
macho.
Well, I don't even want to say macho. Man, they were not quite degrading or disparaging, but it wasn't a show that highly respected. Think of Playboy's guy.
Hugh Hefner?
Hugh Hefner. Think of Hugh Hefner doing a non-X-rated comedy show where he still is acting, at least verbally and on the edge without going all the way. It's kind of the way that show was. Now, here's the thing. I never watched that fucking show because I didn't like it.
Oh, here he is. Jimmy Kimmel in blackface doing Oprah Jimfrey.
Nothing to see there,
not
Larry.
kidding.
Come on. Nothing to see there.
Is that Rosie O'Donnell?
No, that's Jimmy Kimmel.
Oh, I thought that looks like Rosie O'Donnell for a second.
Yeah.
Now, it says that in 2003, Kimmel and Carolla left the Man Show, and the hosting job was passed down to comedians Joe Rogan and Doug Stanhope. With the hosting change came a recomposition of the show's theme song, Gives a Shit. The new pair hosted the show for 2 more seasons before it was canceled. Yeah, so anyways, that's the Man Show. Notable Juggy Girls. These are the girls they called them. That's what they called them. They called them Juggy Girls. Juggy Girls. Okay?
Juggy?
Yeah, the girls that jumped on the... Yeah.
I wonder what that means, Juggy.
Well, there's a Juggy. There's a Juggy. There's a Juggy. Those are some Juggies. And there's a Juggy. So those are, some of the things that, that's what the lecturer in chief on what's Jimmy Kimmel Live?
Yep.
That's what he likes to tell us. His moral standard. Now everybody
You're
can grow.
part of the MAGA gang, evil MAGA gang.
Everybody can grow and become a better person, except Jimmy Kimmel, apparently.
Yes.
Well, I like how late night, for the most part, is just all these dudes just, bashing Trump for the most part. And it's been going on for the last 10 years at this point. So.
Well, that's what I mean. The Jimmy Kimmel Show became the I Hate Trump show.
That's all it is. It's just a vile
yeah.
It's just repetitive and boring.
Yes, it's not anything.
It was not funny. It was just digs at Trump.
And then the worst part is when Colbert did the vaccine.
Now, I will say, when he did make the joke about the fourth stage of grief is remodeling, when Trump said, how are you feeling about, Charlie Kirk being, assassinated and like that? He's like, it's very tough, it's very hard, but you know what? We're remodeling the some part of the White House, the ballroom of the White House.
Yeah.
And I thought that segue was odd. And he did. That was one of his 2,500 writers in the back room stumbled onto that odd joke. Because I would have went, yeah, that's a strange transition. But at the same time, have you ever met anybody who's in the throes of grief? Deep grief? They make gallows humor, or they shift to other topics that are not as triggering and emotional in order to not go off.
Yeah.
And it's come out that President Trump, when Charlie Kirk was assassinated, went into the private quarters of the White House and wept quite profusely, to the point that Alex Jones talked about it today on the show, and he said, I was invited to be with the president during that time, and he said, I chose to let him have his private time, not invited by the president, but they were going to allow him to go in, and he said, no, the president's in a state of grief. I don't want to mess with that.
Screw that.
So when you find out that the president was in there having a deep emotional moment, and then he comes out and they ask him how he's doing, and he immediately shifts to a building project, that's not being callous. That is a defense mechanism, because otherwise if he didn't shift to that ballroom discussion of remodeling, who's to say he wouldn't have broken down again?
Yeah. No, Trump, if you're not in Trump's face, calling him a Nazi, calling him a fascist, calling him a rapist, a pedophile, a homophobe, a transphobe, a dictator, a communist, or all these names that Democrats are too stupid to define but use anyway.
Well, that's
right,
but that's not hate speech.
He's
and that's not turning
a nice
up the rhetoric.
guy.
That's not. But none of the things you mentioned are rhetoric or hate or angry rhetoric or because
Oh, it's like that woman at the protest that's holding up this sign, slandering Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
Right? Trying to say that Charlie Kirk was the one that had the hate
reason
speech.
with some of these people.
No, you can't.
Also,
They're
$50
unhinged.
donation.
What?
Want to read it?
Yeah, read it. Is it racy, raunchy?
John Bovey says.
Oh, John Bovey.
$48 for Based Baron. Don't know who that is. $1 for Larry. $1 for Tim, and none for the lighting guy.
Does that mean Jorge's fired? I think Jorge's fired.
No, don't fire Jorge. We like Jorge.
Listen, it cost me more money to fill out the
I don't
paperwork
wanna
than
learn-
actually
I don't
write him
wanna
a check
learn-
for his last paycheck.
I don't want to learn how to do sign language so I could tell him how to fix the Rumble
I
stuff.
actually like the guy.
Hey, Jorge. Just sign language. No, I appreciate the good work, and thank you, John Bovey, for the donations. Always, what was that? $49? I'm trying to do my math.
$48
Okay,
for
48. So
Base Baron. I don't know who that is.
You don't know who Base Baron is?
$1 for Larry.
I'll tell you after the show who Base Baron is. I know him personally.
Wonder if it's one of his other accounts. And $1 for Tim, and none for the lighting guy, and you're not even included.
I'm going to donate.
Larry gets $1. Base Baron gets 48.
Yes.
and Tim gets 1.
And
Yes.
you and lighting
And
guy
what did
gets lighting guy gets a mention. You're not even
I
mentioned.
got nothing.
You got nothing.
Wait.
Who installed
Wait,
the lights?
wait.
Oh,
You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
oh shit. We got to work on those.
So that works that way. I'm going to
you know
donate
who
$100 to the show to Larry.
That doesn't count. That's like giving yourself a collective pat on the back.
You know what? Just let him donate it.
We don't have to give it to him.
You know who the actual king of comedy is?
Tim Allen.
No, the king of
Tim Allen, the funniest guy on the planet.
You know who is the king of late night comedy and truth right now? I'm going to tell you right now. It's that dude right there.
Is that Mr. Bean?
Well, he's leading. He like blows all the other shows away.
By millions of views.
Yeah. I actually watch him every night, but Tuesday.
He was on one. Greg Gutfeld's one on the other late night shows. Recently.
He does the 5 or something.
Yeah,
like
but
that.
he was on one of the liberal ones. Was it Bill Maher?
Or
was it?
Did he go on?
He went on one. I don't know if it was Bill Maher or
he went on somebody's show.
Was it Colbert?
Yeah, I don't think he went on Colbert because Colbert's a dick.
Yeah.
Well, they're all dicks, but I'm just saying.
No, Bill Maher, dude, was actually.
I think he went on Jimmy Kimmel.
Did he go on Jimmy Kimmel and called him out?
He said, "Hey man, you're gay."
Well, see, if I look up Greg Gutfeld, Jimmy Kimmel, I'm gonna get like a billion articles about him talking about.
This is the most recent one?
This is a few weeks ago.
No, I'm looking at my stuff. What do you got? I'm going to click on this one.
No, it was Jimmy Fallon.
Okay, Fallon's a little bit more, I mean, when he was on...
So in Arizona, 100,000 people
Trump
showed up to honor the life and legacy of Charlie Kirk. The crowds were massive, thoughtful, and peaceful.
It is that.
You gotta have this like...
Yep,
Bezos.
But it's two different...
Bezos.
But it's two different responses to two different events. What can we glean from that? What does it say about a people?
Live.
Call them Republican or conservative or Christian or just plain normal, whose response to grief and outrage is its very opposite. And the other people call them the left, the self-identified oppressed, the few remaining Jimmy Kimmel fans, who saw Floyd's death not just as an avenue for retribution, but also for theft and barbarism. They shouted Black Lives Matter while their riots left a dozen black people dead. But among Kirk's mourners, the idea of violence and revenge never crossed their minds. It's not that we don't feel rage, it's that we don't act on it because our moral standards forbid it. Well, that and when you have a job and a family to support, it's hard to squeeze in burning cop cars and stabbing people into your daily schedule. We're also not dumb enough to burn down the grocery store that we shop at every Thursday. We know that unless you're held hostage at a taping of The View, violence is rarely the answer. The left, however, embrace any opportunity to make violence acceptable. To them, violence is the language you speak to the oppressor. There are no standards to their behavior. Self-control becomes the enemy. Whether it's burning down police stations, attacking Trump supporters, Tesla cars, or ICE facilities, it's not the event that spawns the actions. It's the hateful ingredient within the people doing it. They throw rocks because it's how they get their rocks off. What's inside them that sees violence as a path, while ours is peace? Why do we redouble our efforts to find peace while their drive is for chaos?
Right.
Well, I'll tell you what's inside them. Not a goddamn thing. They're as empty as a dog park in North Korea. And as far as any spirituality, they filed Chapter 11 years ago. That's something to think about moving forward because this isn't going anywhere. This is a story of energy. Charlie's death unleashed an energy, one of love, not of hate. I felt it in Pennsylvania and Connecticut, and you saw it in Arizona. It's as if Charlie's spirit is everywhere, and it forbids us from using his death to punish others, because we know that isn't what Charlie wants. And as angry as we feel, we really don't want it either. It's weak, and worse than weak, it's exploitive. So spare me while I wipe the both sides argument off the bottom of my size 6 shoe. That should have read size 9. There are no both sides. Why is it Erica Kirk can forgive the guy who killed, but the left can't forgive Charlie for having lived? We must always lead by Charlie's...
That right there
Yeah.
is, there's been so many little powerful statements that come out of that, but Erica can forgive the guy who assassinated her husband, but the left can't forgive Charlie for being alive. That is so fucking profound.
example and hope that others will follow. Perhaps even those who participated in the very worst of behaviors might even see the light. All they have to do is open their eyes and turn off MSNBC and CNN. For the memorial reveals a truth that even I missed. When you look at 100,000 people together, peaceful, forgiving, and calm, you realize that's why the left needs to lie about us. The truth about us is so powerful. And without the distortion filter of the media, this is what people will see. And what they see is what people want to have. Peace, love, understanding. Imagine turning on the TV and seeing that for the first time. You might realize what a lie you've been sold for so long.
Mm-hmm.
The left have a right to be scared, but not of guns, but of truth.
Want even more Fox News on YouTube?
Stop. Stop talking. Done with you.
That was very powerful, and I mean
Gutfield is. You know what? Out of anybody still on the mainstream, Gutfield and who's the other guy that's on Fox does a good job.
Jesse Waters?
Jesse
Waters.
Yes.
Yeah, Jesse Waters does really
Gutfield
good.
and Jesse Waters.
Yeah.
I'll take those two guys. Everybody else, I'm kind of like.
You know who I miss is Shannon Bream. That's who I liked.
Was she a juggy girl?
Oh, definitely.
Okay. Well, then I guess I understand that.
She was Shannon Bream was Miss something. I don't remember what. She was maybe Miss Texas at one point in her life or something. She was
definitely a juggy girl. Then.
Tim is asking, has there been a brain move, quote unquote? Just notice the overlay in lower right versus top right, and Erica Kirk, and is Erica Kirk the woman in the Esther prophecy by Kim? I'm guessing he's saying Kim Clement.
Yeah, Kim Clement. I am not going to rule it out. I know Tisha sent me that.
What?
Are you froze?
Let me see.
No, we shouldn't be froze.
No, we're good. We're good.
Okay.
I don't know if Erica Kirk is definitively the one referred to, but I would say 90% of it lines up. So it's pretty close. There was a prophetic word by Kim Clement about a woman who would rise. I think the part for me that was a little elusive was how she rose up. It's very definitive how Erica is rising up with the horrible assassination of her husband. I didn't see that in the Kim Clement prophecy, but then again, prophecy is not all. It doesn't reveal everything in a prophetic word, because if you reveal everything in a prophetic word, people can mess up the prophetic. They can. It's a whole long thing. I teach multiple series on the prophetic and how to operate in the prophetic and how to dissect it and how to operate in it based both on scripture and lifetime stuff. What do you got?
Patriot 615 says the data center is coming to Howell to keep up with Jeffrey's Facebook posts. That's something we will maybe get into later.
We need to crunch all of this together now.
Yeah, we got sidetracked by Larry, and then we got sidetracked by
Breaking News with Alex Yarber.
Yep.
That was good stuff. We had to cover that.
Yep. And then went on about 9/11 for a while, and then we talked about Greg Gutfeld. Never can get through anything on the show completely.
Somebody's about to get his butt muted.
I think Tim and
Bovey are going at it.
Yeah.
You guys calm down.
They're in a chicken fight.
Barron apparently plowed Jeffrey Amayo's wife, but who hasn't?
Do you have a bridge card?
If you got the bridge card, You might get some. Okay, let's do this. Trump came out and with RFK Jr. and a whole group of people.
That's comedy, by the way, folks. Satire.
And addressed the autism rate in the country, and they went absolutely hardcore on acetaminophen, but in particular Tylenol. I was asking you before the show, Teddy, how much the stock dropped, and you said
5% in the last 5 days, but gone up quite. It rebounded a bit.
It rebounded
today.
a little bit, but that's a huge company. That's one product. It is a huge product, but it's one product out of the whole country. What are they doing now?
Nothing. John Bovey says, imagine hiring a Mayo to work on your home, and he's posting on Facebook all day.
That's what he does. So yeah, here it is, announcing the. Trump, RFK Jr. announced the cause of autism in the most important medical announcement in modern U.S. history. It was phenomenal. If you didn't get a chance to watch it, this is just a video, but yeah, they did a phenomenal press conference and talked about how the indictment of the so there's a whole bunch of other articles. Anyways, this whole thing, you can find it on InfoWars or just look it up. The Trump press conference with RFK. They went after Tylenol.
Sorry to interrupt, but I'm looking at an article that just popped up a month ago.
Okay.
Mount Sinai study supports evidence that prenatal samotopin use may be linked to increase of autism and ADHD. That's basically Tylenol.
Serotonin? What's the word?
Prenatal.
Acetaminophen?
Yeah, yes. I'm bad at pronunciations.
Yeah. I'm not much better. Acetaminophen, yeah, and that's what it is. The Tylenol is Trump was saying, do not. He was very. Alex Jones, when I was listening to it, noted. He said he went off script and off prompter. It was supposed to be like a half an hour, maybe 45-minute thing, and he went for an hour and a half. Wow. I think it was what it was. It was double the time that they were allotted for it. And he said, do not take this product at all, unless you absolutely have it.
Right. He's talking to pregnant women.
But also children's Tylenol. Mm-hmm. He said, don't give it to your kids. And the dirty little secret that is now becoming mainstream. It's amazing to me. Teddy, find me the quote of first they ignore it, and then they ridicule it, and then they accept it as valid truth. It's the idea that when somebody gives you something that's contrary to the political norm or the social norm.
The Gandhi quote?
Is it the Gandhi quote?
First they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win.
Yes, that's one of them. But there's another quote that says that they, I think it was, I want to say it was one of our founding fathers, maybe even Thomas Paine. But he said they ridicule it, they dismiss it, they get rid of it, and then it's just accepted as it's always been valid truth. It's always, oh yeah, it's always been acceptable truth. It's that idea of, oh no, you're so stupid. How can you believe that? And then it's out of at a certain point it becomes accepted by everybody as, oh yeah, well yeah, we've all known that. It's like, no, you didn't all know that. A year ago you told me I was an idiot for believing this. Anyways, I remember this whole Tylenol and everything like that. I remember they were like, oh, you don't want to have that going on. You don't want to have the, you don't want to do this, you don't want to do that. And now they're saying stuff that I go, this is stuff we were ridiculed for a year ago, 2 years ago. We were ridiculed for these things. And now they're being said as just, oh yeah, well that's acceptable. That you don't want to do this and you don't want to do that. And you don't want. And so one of the big things that he said in that announcement as well is, why are we giving all of these vaccines all at once to these kids and they're coming out autistic? And Trump didn't go full court press on it and say, don't give it at all. He did say, but he's like, be cautious in these vaccines and do them one at a time, space it out. I think we're incrementally moving towards outlawing a lot of this stuff. And in fact, RFK in another press conference was pointing out that
Apparently, Tim says that's a Arthur Schopenhauer quote.
has he got it?
Yeah. Stated all truth passes through 3 stages. First,
All truth, yeah, that's it. All truth passes
but
through 3
it's
stages.
a Schopenhauer quote.
Yeah.
Which is actually surprising.
All truth passes through 3 stages: dismissal, ridicule, and then acceptance as
First is ridiculed, second is violently opposed, and third it is accepted as self-evident.
self-evident. Oh yeah, everybody knows that.
I knew that.
Everybody knows that.
It's like that one character like that we were talking about, me, you, and Trey.
Oh yeah.
But I knew that.
Unless it comes from a Democrat, then you know it's just a lie.
Everybody knew that.
Everybody knew that. I knew that. Do you know who I am? I'm the junior.
I knew that.
I'm the junior assistant stalker.
A stalker. And yeah, everybody knows. I mean,
I knew that.
You'd be stupid if you didn't know that. But yeah, thank you, Tim, for that. What are you doing? You going to me? You need to pick your nose? You gotta go potty? You know, you should turn your mic off before you grab it off of your chest. Hey, I just need a little bit of ice since you're going down there. Just like half a cup. To finish out the show with you, it was very interesting because my mom took me off of artificial colors and dyes. She didn't know the full dynamic of it. But it was the vaccines. It was all the other stuff. And we didn't even know about this dynamic of the Tylenol. We didn't know about the... but I was in that category of being blonde-haired and blue-eyed. So not only are boys more susceptible to autism than girls, but also boys with blonde hair and blue eyes are far more susceptible to autism and other things on the spectrum. I was... attention deficit hyperactivity, so ADHD. And they at one point suggested to my mom that they put me on Ritalin or whatever the equivalent drug was back in the late 70s or early 80s. And she refused, and she did her research to try to figure out what was actually going on with me. And she took me off of artificial colors and dyes, and she could document how the pacing was and how it worked out in my life. So she knew that. Now it's coming out and they're going, oh yeah, well we always knew, that's And so it's amazing to watch this stuff now, and how they're navigating this and how they're revealing this stuff, because this is a poison. Between the foods, the medications that we take, and the vaccines. What, Teddy?
I'm not an expert in this. I don't know. What I know is what I hear from like you or most other people about the dyes and the vaccines and all that.
Yeah.
And I'm still kind of iffy on I don't know how you are, but if it's like all vaccines or just some vaccines that are causing this.
Are you asking or just throwing that out?
No, I'm asking.
I do not think there is one single. The president will never go this way. RFK may not go this way fully. I don't think there's a single vaccine that is ultimately valid.
Not even polio?
Nope.
Really?
Polio was mostly eradicated by the time the polio vaccine came out. And the same polio vaccine that they used back then is what they're using with the, that they've used in many foreign countries. And Bill Gates is under indictment in several foreign countries for administering the polio vaccine, which saw a huge increase in polio outbreaks in these countries that didn't have polio before they brought in the quote-unquote polio vaccine. So when you understand the dynamics of a vaccine is meant to trigger your immune system to produce antibodies for a specific pollutant or they want to say virus, they want to say these other words, but it's basically toxin, okay? And so they produce what they want to do is they want to inject you with something that produces a immune response within your body. So the vaccine itself is not any type of medicine or cure or immune thing. It is your entire body. So if you have a weakened immune system and you're injected with something that is meant to stimulate your immune system into producing antibodies so that you can defend against a full-blown toxic attack, and your body's too weak to produce those immune bodies from a weakened or lesser form of the attack, you're going to have an attack. So take for instance the annual flu vaccine. It states on the paperwork in it that it has a 2 to 4% efficacy rate. And these are not based on year-by-year clinical studies of the efficacy rate. These are based on initial clinical trials that they've done. They change the flu vaccine every year to try to adapt, but not based on actual lifetime clinical trials, but on their guesstimation of what flu strain is going to be produced. And they're giving you a flu shot that's supposed to stimulate your immune system in order to have it produce antibodies in anticipation. So what they've done is, when you were a kid, maybe your buddy got chickenpox, and your parents, if they were wise, would send you over to your buddy's house to hang out with him for the weekend. Well, what would happen? You'd be around him having the chickenpox, and then maybe you get chickenpox or you get a lesser outbreak of chickenpox, but your body, because you were around your friend who had the antibodies and the viral load, which I don't even believe in viruses anymore, but you had the toxic load, you were able to produce your own antibodies to fight it off. Then you don't have shingles later when you're an adult, because that's what chickenpox is later in life. So I don't believe that there is any vaccine that is truly valid in producing the type of antibodies that we need. And the case in point is they grew vaccines on peanuts. Do you know why we have had an outbreak for years of people that are allergic to peanuts? Because they grew the vaccine on peanuts.
Wow, really?
The reason that we had a problem with these vaccines for years with the autism is because they included squalene. You know what squalene?
No.
It's basically mercury.
Okay.
You think we're not allowed to break open a thermometer or a temperature gauge?
Because there's mercury in it.
Because mercury in it.
Yep.
But then they're injecting you with a vial full of mercury. And
I just think of the Chinese emperors that consumed mercury in their immortality immortality photos,
right?
Or photos of
How
formulas.
about the emperors throughout the Roman Empire that had lead? That lead was considered a high thing, and they all had lead poisoning, and they went mad. Do you know what? That's where the idea of the Mad Hatter comes from. Is they had lead. They used lead in the processing of making hats, and they would go insane. Lead and mercury. Mad Hatter. Because they went mad from the lead and mercury poisoning. So there's a lot of dynamics. If you want to look up some really good stuff, look up Dr. Sherry Tenpenny on this. And what's her name? The doctor, she's the, not Maria Labo, even though she's really good. The other doctor is, why can't I think of her name? I can see her face. She's been on InfoWars. I'll look it up and talk about it next show. But the Medical Rebel. Look up that Medical Rebel.
What was I'm trying to remember the first name that they would give somewhat of vaccines way back in 1700s, 1800s.
We'll do a study on Dr. Lee Merritt. Dr. Lee Merritt, she's phenomenal, the Medical Rebel. She does this huge thing. One of the things she does about vaccines, or not even vaccines, about viral loads and things like that, she goes through and she discusses how the original flu outbreak during the Spanish flu had nothing to do with some crazy virus that everybody got. It was the first full implementation of radio waves throughout America and the European continents.
Really?
The 1918 to 1919 was when they first really pushed and brought out radio at the end of the war. In a massive scale, they were using it. And that frequency toxin is what triggered a lot of people to get sick. And the case in point is they would take people who were sick and inject other people with other bodily fluids from them to see if they would get sick from physical, literal transmission of the fluids from one person to another. And they could not get those people to be sick. They would have an inflammation in the injection site, of course, because you're introducing but they never developed a flu. They did the same type of tests on horses and could not get that type of, any type of transmission. So ultimately, I don't believe in that.
So is this like, what in terms of radio waves causing an influenza outbreak? I'm just kind of a little confused on that because...
Okay, so...
what I always thought it was just something that came out of the trenches of World War I because, as we all know, the trenches were very unsanitary.
Correct.
And then there's other theories about it coming from China.
China's always the blame.
Or just, came from...
If you think about it, how sick are we nowadays? We're the sickest we've ever been. We pay the most in medical care ever. And what are we surrounded? We're surrounded in a frequency soup that's detrimental. There are multiple testimonies of people that move their bedroom away from their smart meters on their house or away from their electrical box, move their primary sleeping area away from it, and got more peaceful sleep almost immediately.
Interesting.
Yeah. So we don't, well, there's also a report that came out of Europe where they had these cell towers and they were in this particular set of forests, and the forests were, all the trees were dying, losing their needles because the frequency of the cell towers was happened to be the same frequency of the pine needles and were causing all the trees to lose their needles. They changed the frequency of the cell towers and the trees came right back. These 5G towers, and I don't know if you saw that, but there's a lawsuit about removing 5G towers. There's some other stuff coming out that these 5G towers, one of them was in California, and they had a explosion of cancer rates at this elementary school that they put a 5G tower in front of. And we don't understand, it goes back to Tesla, that frequency and waves have a huge impact on the body, have a huge dynamic on the earth has a frequency, rocks have a frequency, trees have a frequency, they all have frequencies. There's a huge debate over, we switch from 432 to 440 as a standard tuning. You know, your brother's a guitar tech. When we switched from 432 prior to the Second World War to 440 as a standard tuning, a lot of people believe that we lost some of that harmony, some of those dynamics, because we're not in tune with those frequencies properly. We're off kilter. So there's a lot to that. As far as going back to your initial question about vaccines, I've seen too much in the realm of
I want to push back a little bit on just like kind of just the frequency of things, because there have been plagues like the Black Death and the plagues of the Roman times and all that were very similar to each other and a little bit to the influenza.
Okay.
So maybe I think that just these pandemics just naturally happen, right? Because, you know, stuff is always evolving, and this is my basic knowledge of things, right?
Okay.
Just looking into it. But it was like I said before, we can't conspiracize, we can't make a conspiracy theory behind everything, right?
Okay.
Why not? Well, we could, but it makes us, you know, there's some things that we could actually look into, and there's other things where if we stretch it out, it just makes it look silly, right? You can question it, but it's silly enough that, you know.
Is your mic on, Larry?
Larry.
It is not.
So maybe, you know, and there have been other instances of just cancer outbreaks just happening in schools and all that way before. Like, I don't know if it was like, because of like water, you know, industrial discharge and all that. But
could be PFAS.
But we don't. Yeah. But
so in the Spanish flu, there were 4 things that happened. You had extreme sunspot activity. You had the introduction of I was trying to look it up on Lee Merrick's site because I know the 2 off the top of my head. The other 2 I'm trying to think of. Mm-hmm. You had extreme sunspot activity. That is a frequency. You had the introduction of the radio. That was huge.
Yep.
And then you had 2 other factors that came into that culminated in this. So 2 things. One, you know how a microwave works, right?
Yep.
So a microwave tunes into the frequency of water. Water resonates at 2.45 gigahertz. That is how a microwave works. It tunes into the actual frequency of the oxygen with the 2 hydrogens. That is that wavelength frequency, like an antenna, is 2.4 gigahertz. And a microwave tunes into that and causes that water molecule to oscillate. So the wetter, if you put in a bowl of soup, volume-wise, it's going to heat up faster than a biscuit.
Right.
Okay? Now, if you have a biscuit that's this size and a bowl of soup this size, the bowl of soup's going to take longer because it has more volume.
You said volume-wise, you said equal amount.
The water is, anything with more water is going to heat up faster because that is the whole premise of a microwave, is to oscillate the water molecule within any food object that you put inside of it.
You ever taken a ear of corn, right, before you shuck it, dip it in a bucket of water, and then cook it in the microwave?
That's how I do it.
Okay.
I either do it there, or if I have time, I like to actually put it on the smoker or the grill. But I always like to leave my corn in the husk and cook it that way. I find it much more natural. So there's this dynamic, Teddy, that everything has a frequency. Now you think about it, if a microwave resonates at the frequency of water in there, how many more other frequencies do we have throughout our entire life that are resonating? And these are things that are that affect us, and we don't even realize that we're being affected. I was thinking of another one, because and I understand pushing back. That's fine.
I would just like, there's some things that would make maybe the frequency makes sense. I don't know that, right? I don't know anything about frequencies or how they can, like how they, what's the word? How they interact with each other, like
how they correlate.
How they correlate.
Yeah.
But I think just like I think the main thing is that pandemics will happen.
Correct.
Regarding, because just...
Well, here's the other dynamic to look at, and this is from years of study. This is not something from other stuff. The other dynamic to look at is when you go down the road of studying it, the flu is not the cause, it's the effect. We're giving people a vaccine for the flu, when in reality, what if the flu is actually the detox?
Maybe.
I don't know. All I know is this. Every time I've ever got the flu shot,
you got sick.
Got the flu.
Great.
So I do not get flu shots anymore.
100%.
So it just, you want to get a flu shot, you go right ahead.
Do your thing.
I'm not doing it.
I have not been sick with the flu or anything like that for years.
I get the
flu. But how healthy are you?
I mean, I could be healthier, but...
But I'm saying in general, how healthy are you?
I mean, there's nothing wrong with me.
All right, let's be graphic about this.
Okay.
All right, but we're in the last 15 minutes of the show.
When are your bowel movements? In the morning? On
Morning.
average, most people?
Morning.
Do you ever feel sick or nauseous or flu-like just before you have your bowel movements in the morning?
During.
During?
So yeah, during or... during or
So you felt that.
Yeah.
That is your body detoxing at that moment. Unlike urine, which is sterile and has many health benefits, which I've never tried yet, but I've studied on it quite a bit. And then if need be, if you get stung by a jellyfish, I will piss on you.
Well, I mean,
yeah, no thanks.
But your bowels, the last like 2 feet of your bowels, or it's maybe whatever it is, whatever the length is, it's not very long. That's where your body, through your liver, your bile duct, or your liver and your the other organs that work with your liver, that's when they discharge your toxins out of your body. And the more toxic you become, the more sick you will feel just before and during a bowel movement. Is because your body's releasing those toxins, and it can't shield you completely as you're taking a shit, but it's going to try to put those toxins in that as you're having that movement, and you will feel slightly ill. So it's the same correlation. When you have a flu, you're not actually sick from the flu, you're sick from whatever is being detoxed. Mm-hmm. And you can look this up in the literature.
Yeah, and you're probably right on the money. I mean, like you said, you did years of research. I'm just doing a pushback.
No, I get it.
On like,
no, it's
I
good
would say it's a
information.
pushback, but it's me also kind of just asking some questions because I'm just curious and a little bit confused as well.
So, but it goes back to your original question: do I believe vaccines? No, because they're far more. Look what they did during this whole. This is indicative of the medical community's brainwashing or conformity coercion, mental conformity coercion that they've done during the supposed COVID lockdowns. What did they do? Did they prescribe ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine and any other thing that was natural?
No.
No. They pushed a vaccine, and now multiple people have myocarditis and all sorts of other problems. So that tells you that the medical community is not trying to find the natural alternative that they can't make any money off of. They're trying to find a synthetic chemical alternative. Why do we have upwards of 90 vaccines for children?
Yep.
When 200 years ago we didn't need this. Well, we didn't live as long. Bullshit. There are communities throughout the world, there are Amish people that never had vaccines that have a longer lifespan.
There's an island in Greece that has like most of its people live to like be over 100.
100%, exactly.
And obviously, I mean, if I asked myself, okay, would I live longer if I didn't eat all this slop throughout my life, like processed slop or anything like that?
Yeah.
Or if I eat a natural diet, I'd probably say, oh yeah, I'd live longer if I had a natural diet or
right.
Didn't eat
all. The better your diet, the more you detox on a daily basis.
Yep.
I'll tell you what, this is not the greatest.
But and this is where the Maha movement, RFK, comes in, where people are kind of finally, at least the public is waking up to like, hey, this processed stuff and all these dyes and all this other stuff and the medical community and this isn't really good for us. We're not living a natural, healthy lifestyle.
What do you know about the medical community alone? If they prescribe you one pill, you're going to end up taking 15.
Yep.
Why? Because of the side effects.
Well, because of
it's a cascading side effect.
The auctioneers sound like listing out the side effects in the ads.
The side effect of this pill is going to precipitate you take this pill to combat that side effect, and this is going to have that side effect, and this is going to have that side effect. So what does that tell you? They're not trying to cure or find out the reason for the initial problem. So you come back to go, all right, they're pushing pills, they're pushing vaccines, they're pushing all these unhealthy things, when I've got a book downstairs that is the herbal remedies.
I remember I was listening to an RFK speech like it was July last year or something like that.
Yeah.
He's doing a press conference about chronic diseases, right?
Yeah.
And I listened to this. It was like an hour and a half long speech. I listened to the whole of it while I was on the computer.
Okay.
But he kind of woke me. It kind of made me more aware of just how like the system is, of how it's a cycle of poisoning most of the population.
Yeah.
And how like we're on the system as well, where it's like education, where we're not learning really anything meaningful skills.
No. We don't do acupuncture, acupressure,
acupuncture,
anything like that. We don't do holistic medicine.
Japan has a lot of aging people, but they mostly do
acupuncture. They do a regimented amount of time of day, Maybe it's only 15 minutes, but they do an exercise a day. They do a lot of holistic medicine, and they have on average longer lifespans.
And they have a healthier diet.
Healthier diet. So of course Dale's chiming in and said I've had some very powerful detox in my truck driving days. Yes, I'm sure Larry gets that. Larry, you want to do?
Well, didn't you want to touch on the Ukraine flip-flop?
Yeah, we wanted to touch on that.
But
the Howell Data Center, apparently that's, did we find out that passed?
I sent you 2 articles.
I know, but we just got word that it's going to pass.
Really?
That's what I thought we heard.
I thought it failed.
I would hope it failed. Didn't somebody say that it's...
I would have...
But I wanted Larry to touch on the Midwesterner. There's this, Jocelyn Benson approves an 86 Trump license plate despite explicit rule violations. Look at this.
Yes.
Jocelyn Benson approves 86 Trump violation plate despite explicit violations. What are the violations? It says in the statute, the Secretary of State will not issue a configuration of either letters, numbers, or letters and numbers that carry a connotation that is profane or obscene, is a swear word. I don't know how they mean cuss word, but they're using the wrong lingo there. Or a depiction of a swear, meaning cuss word, is sexually explicit or graphic, is extratory related.
Apparently, public comment.
Taking a shit.
Public comment on the meeting is still going, I believe.
Okay. Is used to describe intimate body parts or genitals, so you couldn't put pussy or penis on there. Maybe vagina, you couldn't have a vaginal plate. Is used to describe alcohol use, drug culture, so you can't do a weed plate.
I can't have a plate that says Gina Man?
You can't do it. Or you can't have bourbon bro. One of those plates. I couldn't get a Di Serono plate. Is used to describe illegal activities, illegal substances, substantial interferes with the plate identification for law enforcement, meaning if your plate, use some symbols on there. Is used to disparage or promote or condone hate or violence directed at any type of business, group, or person. A foreign word falling in these categories, or that conflicts with regular license plating number system. So let me ask some of you good people out there, does 86 TRMP, 86 Trump, fall in the category of promoting, used to disparage, promote, or violate, or violence directed at a type of business, group, or person? Persons. Do you think that does it? Do you think 86 Trump has anything to do with that?
I think I should apply for 86 WTMR.
Is that a radio station?
WT?
86 WTMR.
WTMR.
I don't see it.
Whitmer.
I don't see, yeah. I was
W-
thinking of Whitler.
Whitmer.
But yeah, Whitmer. Why not? Apply for it, Larry.
Yeah.
Put it on your Jeep. Put it on your Jeep, Larry.
I already have a veteran's plate on it.
You know,
but
Jorge did a really good job of trying to figure out these cameras with the new lighting.
Yes.
But when I have this screen on in the background, and it's white, it takes that camera a minute to figure out what.
It's pretty good, by the way.
You like that?
Yeah. Is that Barnwood?
Yeah, I buy the not Barnwood. No, I buy the pickets from Home Depot.
Oh.
So they're the fence pickets.
Oh, nice.
That's what most of the man cave is decked out in, is these barn pickets.
Huh.
Yeah.
Nice. That looks pretty good.
Most of my stuff is reclaimed wood, like the table and everything like that. But and a lot of the other stuff. But you get to a certain point, yeah. So it's the barn wood. Yeah. What else do you want to cover, Larry?
Well, I wanted to talk about the would-be Trump assassin today.
Oh yeah, Ryan Routh.
Yes, who decided he was going to try and off himself after the verdict came.
Oh yeah. So if you guys haven't heard, Ryan Routh was found guilty on all charges. Let's see this. Ryan Ralph found guilty on all charges. And then
What
Ryan,
charges was he charged with?
Let's see
do
what
we
it
know?
was.
Attempted murder?
Let's see. Ryan Ralph, his daughter sprinted away. Don't give two fucks. Please, world, we need everyone here.
We cannot tolerate corruption.
Is that him? Is that a picture of the same guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, in Ukraine.
Oh.
He was connected to Ukrainian military intelligence. By the way.
So what were the? I was looking for the actual charges. Let me see if.
Well, I have an interesting story here about his daughter.
Oh yeah. Well, let's play this.
Okay.
It was there. Just now. Yeah, she's running away. Let's see what.
Yeah, she.
Let's see what we're found guilty on.
All charges. Count one so far we know guilty unanimously. Paul, get your reaction here as we await more information from the courtroom.
Tell us the
all charges.
Yeah. So they're not telling. They're not seeing the charges.
You want me to look it up?
Yeah. Look up the charges. Larry, what do you got?
What do I got? Say the daughter of 59-year-old Ryan Roth, who was convicted on Tuesday of attempting to assassinate President Donald Trump during a 2024 campaign, during the 2024 presidential campaign, stormed out of the courtroom after the verdict, cursing at the press and making threats.
What did she
The drama came.
What did she cuss? She said, "Get the fuck out of my face." That's what she cussed.
Yeah. No, the drama came after Roth was found guilty on all charges against him and seemingly tried to stab himself in the neck with a pen several times before the U.S. Marshals restrained him. His daughter, Sarah Roth, stood up in the courtroom and started cursing in front of the jury.
Cursing, cussing, is that what you're reading is cursing?
Cursing.
So they've used swearing, cursing,
yes,
and the proper term for all of you in Rio Linda is cussing.
Right. Don't do anything. I will get you out, Sarah Roth said. What the fuck? Fuck. He didn't hurt anybody. This is not fair. This is rigged. You guys are assholes. She stormed out of the building telling the media, go away, get the fuck out of my face.
Is she American?
I don't know.
Well, I just want to make sure because if she's like Korean or whatever.
No, she's American.
Okay, because
so he has.
Get the fuck out of my face.
So federal charges:
make sure I didn't-
attempted assassination of a major presidential candidate. That's
Yeah.
a charge. Possessing a firearm in furtherance of a crime of violence. Assaulting a federal officer. Possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Possession of a firearm with the serial number removed.
Yeah.
And then Florida is attempted felony murder,
Yeah.
attempted first-degree murder, and terrorism.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So look at this.
so he's going away for life.
Failed Trump assassin, as you said, Larry, tried to stab himself in the neck with a pen immediately after being found guilty. Yeah.
Now,
he tried to stab himself in the neck with a pen.
I want to bet that
Is
Gavin
the pen
Newsom-
mightier than the sword?
No.
Apparently not, because he couldn't off himself.
Well, if he dressed up like a girl, maybe a
Maybe
mile
if he
would
had,
choke him out.
maybe if he found some thin bed sheets that aren't meant for people to break their neck.
You could break all three bones as if you were choked to death.
With the prison sheet?
Yeah.
Really?
If you do it just right. Well, I mean,
Toilet
Epstein did
paper.
it.
Was it a prison sheet or toilet paper? I thought
It was a
toilet
bed
paper.
sheet that's
Oh.
basically the constitution of toilet paper. It's basically the consistency of that.
Okay, I can see why.
All
somebody...
right, so we covered that. So the data center is still going on. Do we want to give them a quick thing on that? It's 11 o'clock. Larry, you got to go?
Yes.
Oh, I want to hear Larry's. What's your take on the data center real quick?
Yeah.
Don't really
Have a take?
No, I haven't really been following the data.
This will be Teddy, give him the synopsis. This
People are saying it's going to be one of the top 3, if not the largest data centers being proposed to be built in the country, and how being built on farmland. A lot of people are obviously against it.
Right. Well, let me ask this. Could it possibly bring more libtards to Livingston County?
Yeah, well,
because if it...
we will have a whole subpopulation of Indians coming here on H-1B visas to work in the center. to keep it up and running. So you have to think about that.
Well, I wonder if that would happen because of the H-1B visas. That's something we forgot to cover too.
What I'm saying is they will pay for it and they will come. But as we were talking downstairs with Jorge said that with upwards of 1 million gallons of water, it would drain all of the aquifers. You'd be fucked without water. You'd be drinking from the lake, which you know has fish poop in it. And you don't like fish sticks, so why would you like fish shit?
You're a gay fish.
That's very fishistic. Give me your final thoughts, Larry, and we'll let you go. Maybe Teddy and I will keep talking. We'll see how we feel.
I don't know if I'd want a data center coming to our community, especially since...
Well, they're trying to tout jobs.
But
it's going to be like 30 jobs. It's probably going to be people not in the community or, yeah.
And again...
It might cause libtards to move into the community, so I'm opposed to it. Anything that brings liberals to Livingston County, I'm opposed to. I want to run liberals out of Livingston County. We don't need them.
I think you need to stop development
we don't need them
entirely. But unfortunately, there are apparently some people that have been on the show in the township board are very much in favor of the data center because of taxation. Apparently, it brings jobs.
Would we get a kickback?
Yeah, but
well, I have to say that
Your final thoughts, Larry, and then shut up.
Yeah, keep Livingston County rural.
Yeah,
rural.
That's why I moved here.
Dude, we've had people from across the political spectrum on the show who agree with you 100%. Keep Livingston. They literally said, "I am a Democrat, but I moved here because it's a rural area and I wanted to keep it that way." And are fighting the PUD stuff over here in Genoa Township.
I think there needs to be a party or movement, at least here, of stopping all development.
Right.
Because here's the problem. Because
but environmentally over impactful.
I think we're too developed already.
Housing, industrial. I'm opposed more to the industrial. I watched the industrial thing right here at 59 and 96. Sitting with vacant lots.
They could have built.
While they go and build other places.
Exactly.
Who's Norman Lear?
That's an older guy that used to do.
Okay, because I guess apparently Kimmel posted a picture of him and Norman Lear on his show.
Why do we care what Kimmel calls?
I don't know.
Kimmel likes Juggies. It's all good.
Well, I like Juggies.
You do, but you didn't do a show exploiting Juggies.
How do you know that Jimmy Kimmel doesn't like wieners?
He could be he could be a hot dog guy.
He might be.
I mean, he is.
Maybe he likes fish sticks.
He is liberal. He could like fish sticks.
Yeah, he might be a pickle kind of guy.
What? And if you like fish sticks, what are you?
A gay fish.
You're a gay fish.
There it is. So there it is. All right, Teddy, you're gonna go, or Larry, you're gonna go. Teddy and I are gonna sit here for a few more minutes.
All right. Well, you guys have fun.
You got your final thought?
My final thought for the day is
don't be a gay fish.
Don't be a gay fish, and if you're a girl, stay away from Jeffrey Amaya.
Because he might choke a bitch out.
Well, he has in the past.
I mean, and then take the bridge card and cash that shit in.
Yeah, cash that stuff in. Maybe imagine that, having your wife robs a guy that she's having sex with, and gives you the bridge card.
Yeah.
What's going on there?
Tim says data center Skynet.
Like Terminator?
Terminator? Yeah. I think so, buddy. Thanks, Larry.
I don't know. Well, good night, everybody.
He was here late, and now he's leaving early. I love it. Teddy, we're going to talk about Destiny real quick.
Do we want to talk about Ukraine for a second?
Yeah, let's talk about it. Okay, so let's do this. I want to cover. We want to talk about the flip-flop, or we want to talk about the
flip-flop.
Okay, so I want to point out that Trump did a phenomenal job with the Ukraine speech. I mean, he laid them the fuck out. Okay, so let me hit this right here. After pre-UN speech sabotage, Trump unleashes hell on the UN, and I gotta see if we get a little bit of that. I don't know how much this. I wanted the highlights. Yeah, I want the highlights right there. Let's see.
The Congo and Rwanda, a vicious, violent war that was.
Yeah.
Pakistan and India, Israel and Iran, Egypt and Ethiopia, and Armenia and Azerbaijan. It included all of them. No president or prime minister, and for that matter, no other country has ever done anything close to that. And I did it in just 7 months. It's never happened before.
So one of the things you got to realize here, guys, is that President Trump is looking at his, see how that flickers and all that shit? President Trump is looking at his notes because they gave, and he says it, you got to watch the whole speech on there on your own time. But they gave him a broken teleprompter, a broken escalator when he gets there, and he makes a big joke about it. But listen to this. This is talking about climate change.
Global warming, not happening.
Not happening.
You know, it used to be global cooling. If you look back years ago in the 1920s and the 1930s, they said, global cooling will kill the world. We have to do something. Then they said global warming will kill the world. But then it started getting cooler. So now they could just call it climate change because that way they can't miss. It's climate change. Because if it goes higher or lower, whatever the hell happens, there's climate change. It's the greatest con job ever perpetrated on the world, in my opinion. Climate change, no matter what happens, you're involved in that. No more global warming, no more global cooling. All of these predictions made by the United Nations and many others, often for bad reasons, were wrong. They were made by stupid people that have cost their countries fortunes and given those same countries no chance for success. If you don't get away from this green scam, your country is going to fail.
Okay, so that's huge right there. And then let me see how long this one is.
I ended 7 wars, dealt with the leaders of each and every one of these countries, and never even received a phone call from the United Nations offering to help in finalizing
like they gave me a broken teleprompter.
The deal. All I got from the United Nations was an escalator that on the way up stopped right in the middle. If the First Lady wasn't in great shape, she would have fallen. But she's in great shape. We're both in good shape. We both stood.
The escalator stopped.
And then a teleprompter that didn't work. These are the 2 things I got from the United Nations, a bad escalator and a bad teleprompter. Thank you very much.
Dude, he rips on them so hardcore. But look at this shit.
We have reasserted that America belongs to the American people, and I encourage all countries to take their own stand in defense of their citizens as well. You have to do that because I see it. I'm not mentioning names. I see it, and I can call every single one of them out. You're destroying your countries. They're being destroyed.
So one of the things that I've got to point out on this is that
they've been Western countries and their borders. In 2024, the UN budgeted $372 million in cash assistance to support an estimated 624,000 migrants journeying into the United States. Think of that. The UN is supporting people that are illegally coming into the United States, and then we have to get them out. The UN also provided food, shelter, transportation, and debit cards to illegal aliens. Can you believe that? On the way to infiltrate our southern border. Millions of people came through that southern border. Just a year ago, millions and millions of people were pouring in, 25 million altogether over the 4 years of the incompetent Biden administration. And now we have it stopped, totally stopped. In fact, they're not even coming anymore.
The one we talked about right at the beginning is Trump complains, so I wanted to point this out here. I'm going to highlight this. Highlight this. Trump complains that the United Nations wasn't part of his work to end the wars around the world. So the first clip that I played was the UN has the first clip that I played was him ending these wars, 7 wars. Only thing he hasn't ended is Ukraine, Russia, and Israel, Palestine. but he says the UN has such tremendous potential. I've always said it, and has tremendous, tremendous, tremendous potential, but it's not even coming close to living up to that potential. So what he was talking about was how they, not only were they not trying to help end the wars that he ended in his first 7 months, they were perpetuating them by sending, by the things they were doing up front and behind the scenes. And I wanted to make sure we played that because that makes this flip-flop that much more insane because with the flip-flop, he gets up there and lectures the UN, rightly so, about not ending wars, about perpetuating wars, about not helping, and that America is the biggest, we're paying the most money to support the UN and getting the least amount of economic benefit from it, or even social benefit from it. And then he comes back and sits down with the little potentate dictator of Ukraine, and this is InfoWars. Trump flip-flops on Ukraine war stance and supports continuing the conflict. I don't fucking support continuing the conflict. Now, I don't know if this is part of his tactic of...
You can't... I just
don't know.
I think the art of the deal kind of explanation can go so far.
It can only go so far. You're right. It can only go so far. You got to draw the line and say you can't have a fucking art of the deal.
Did you see that article I sent you?
I'm gonna pull it up while you're talking.
The fact that he thinks that Ukraine can take back all of the land, and he says even more, which means taking Russian territory, is in itself insanity. I don't know who I don't know who he's hearing this from, or if just Zelensky convinced him of this, but it's just.
And is this the art of the deal again? That's the question. Is this the art of the deal dynamic of we're going to, and I got the screen up, Andy. Is this the art of the deal dynamic where we're going to, let me see this. Which one is this?
It's the bottom one.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So these are the Trump's stunning pivot on Ukraine thrills hawkish Republicans. Of course, they just rally around him. Oh, we get to bomb more shit and spend more fucking money on we're going to kick back more money to our industrial complex, military industrial complex. Doesn't thrill me. He's the president that ran on ending all these wars. Then he comes and sits with Voldemort Zelensky, little demon. An extraordinary shift. Trump says Ukraine can win the war with Russia. No, they can't.
Unless the only way that can happen is if NATO gets directly involved, which is global great power conflict with nuclear weapons.
I don't see it, man. I don't see it. None of the actual.
Can you tell me which country is forcibly kidnapping people in order to get manpower in the military?
For 1,000 points, Ukraine.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yay! Mark it down. I'd like to do a final. What's my final? On Jeopardy. What's
your prize?
No, the final when he goes. Give your final. What's their called?
Final answer or
at the last round when they do.
I don't know.
Shit, I never watched the show. I just know the highlights. Anyway, so yes, this is the bullshit that we're dealing with. So Trump goes and lectures the UN about ending wars, and laments the fact that he hasn't been able to end the Ukraine-Russia, or the Israeli-Palestine war. Okay, after he cites the 7 other wars that he's been able to end through economic sanctions, through other maneuverings, through other things, and he loves that. And yet he goes on. He's sitting there with. Dude, Zelenko's a piece of shit, dude. Mm-hmm. He's a fucking dictator. Trump mocked him a month ago about suspending elections because they're at war.
And you can't.
And then he's sitting there going to say that.
Just I don't get it. I don't know why he's just going full in with Ukraine. I don't know. He's like, just walk away. Walk away.
And if it's the art of the deal and he's playing it, I get it. Well, no.
Here's my thing.
Teddy,
Here's my thing. I want to push back.
Yep.
He always says, like, if you see you talk about like Russia and Ukraine, he's like, Putin's killing all these civilians.
Yeah.
Google Ukraine civilian deaths in like the last month.
Right.
Let me look it up. Ukraine civilian deaths.
It's 1 million.
Last month.
Oh, last month.
Last month. Let's just have.
I'm going to guess 50,000.
58. 58 deaths, 272 injured. Civilian deaths.
Oh, just 58 people.
58 civilians.
Okay.
But Trump's always going on when Russia attacks with drones, missiles in Ukraine.
Yeah.
If Russia wanted to destroy the civilian population in Ukraine, they could do it in like a day. They have the capability.
Right.
But they're mostly going after infrastructure.
Yep.
Or military targets.
There's very few people giving. Putin
Trump's going after Putin for all these civilian deaths. He's like trying to say so many
and very
people are
few
dying.
people are giving Putin
Gaza,
the credit that he deserves,
deaths,
that he's doing everything he can to restrict this to military targets.
But let me look this up now. Gaza deaths today, right?
They're fucking just assassinating people left and right.
Let me just say Gaza deaths this week, because it's not showing me a daily. September 23, at least 47 Palestinians were killed by Israeli drone strikes. September 21st, at least 25 people from the same family were killed in an Israeli strike.
Were they coming to get food at the refugee centers?
In a house.
Hmm.
And then that's September 17. Israeli military killed at least 83 Palestinians.
Mm-hmm.
And then September 16, 59 people were killed, 368 were wounded. So let me ask you this. Why does Trump care more about, he's saying, he's going on about the civilian deaths and going after Putin for all that.
Yeah.
The 58 civilian deaths in Ukraine last month, but we have that same number in Gaza being
Even more.
in a day, if not more. We have multiple times that.
Yeah.
So why isn't Trump saying, I'm going to sanction Netanyahu and Israel for all these civilian deaths? Because we all know that they're ethnically cleansing, probably going to genocide these 2 million people trapped in Gaza at this point. So why isn't the same amount of effort being made to stop the war in Gaza? Because when they're, Trump allowed Israel.
Because it depends on the alliances.
Trump allowed Israel to bomb Qatar, who was mediating the conflict.
Yeah.
And the negotiating team of Hamas.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
When they were when they were summoned about a deal that Trump proposed.
Yeah.
So where are the priorities at? Where are your priorities?
I would. Tim texted, zoom in on Ted, zoom in on Ted, zoom in on Ted 3 times. The minute I zoom in on Ted, I can zoom in on Ted.
Zoom in on me.
I'm going to zoom in on Ted. Got it? The minute I go back to SuperSource, it changes Ted. So the way I have it programmed, so yes, I would like to zoom in on Ted. But the way I have the buttons programmed, it's not going to stay the minute I go back to SuperSource. We'll go to table because it's just the two of us. Just the two of us. But that's a sexual song, and we're not doing that.
Wait.
So
you're a gay fish.
You're a gay fish. There you go. But I look at this from the dynamic of, is it the art of the deal? Because here's what I was going to bring up.
Okay.
We sat here on the show, and many conservative pundits, including InfoWars and a bunch of other people, disagreed with Trump's surgical strikes on Iran. In the following days and weeks since the surgical strike on Iran, they have put Iran in check for the most part and quelled that additional. So from that perspective, what Trump did in strategically bombing Iran, nullified Israel's anything. Israel tried. They tried to saber rattle after that, but they ultimately backed off of attacking Iran as another war front because of Trump's surgical strikes. Not saying I agree with any of it, but I will say his tactic of surgically striking Iran.
But you can't strike a mediator country that is a U.S. ally that we have given security guarantees.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Like, if any other country did that,
yeah,
would we be like, oh, yeah, go you? Or would we be putting sanctions on it or decrying it?
100%.
So why are we allowing...
I don't know. I don't know the geopolitical of it. I'm with you 100%. Why the fucking flip-flop? But then I look at some of his track record on the way he's operated, and I go, some of this has worked out. Did it take 7 years? Well, no, 6 years for him to really come out against vaccines now?
Tim says, Gaza deaths cannot be proven to be Civ versus Hamas. They can't tell who is who. I would like to push back on that, where Hamas has probably a couple 20,000 fighters. There's 2 million other people in Gaza that aren't. So I want to just...
no matter what you believe about...
But my point is that more people are getting killed in bombings.
Yeah.
You know, you could say it's terrorism, but we're talking about daily deaths, creating 58 deaths last month. Gaza and drone strikes, and as I was saying one of the dates before, 75, a whole bunch, dozens of people in the same family were blown up in a house.
And we have video of them targeting people that are coming to refugee centers to get food.
Yes.
And the drones are clearly owned by Israel.
Yep.
And we know that Israel stood down for 7.5 hours on October 7th when they were being attacked by these malicious, huge army of 1980s Toyota trucks and hang gliders. That one of the greatest armies in the world.
Yep.
Didn't retaliate or stop the attack for 7.5 hours. That's on record.
But they killed a lot of their own people, though.
They did. And every time they attack. So I have a problem with, listen, here's my fundamental problem with the Israeli-Gaza situation, Israeli-Hamas. We are muddying the waters by equating the Israeli government with the Jewish people. There are many phenomenal Jewish people, but just like our government has a deep state, and until Trump got in was most of the government, the Israeli government has a lot of evil people in control who will just murder at will.
Yep.
And if we can't acknowledge the dynamic of that and say that the Israeli government can be evil and is trying to exterminate those in the Gaza Strip to take it over, at the same time exonerating the vast majority of Jewish people who may or may not support that. Do you know that Netanyahu's support in Israel is at all-time lows?
Yep.
And the only reason he's still in power and not indicted by his own government, which he tried to replace the entire, what they would consider their Supreme Court,
yep,
is because they went to war, and as long as war persists, he can stay in power. And the minute that war is not in effect, he's going to be subject to criminal prosecution by his own government.
And he'll be voted out.
And he'll be voted out. Those are dynamics you have to acknowledge in this whole sphere. The same way that Joe Biden was a corrupt president. Oh, Barack Obama. Actually, from JFK to Reagan to Trump, those are some of the only three presidents with, I'll say Nixon too. Nixon historically, because Nixon just tried to cover up the break-in. But I will say that those four were presidents that, for better or worse, tried to be president and were thwarted at different sides by the deep state, what we call the deep state, CIA, whatever the fuck you want to call it. The vast majority of the other presidents that were in there were either controlled or were at the helm, like Barack Obama, who wanted to, have his third term in the basement in his sweatpants and just control. Well, who's his puppet? Biden, Joe Biden. My point is, you can all have an evil government. Doesn't mean the people are evil.
Yep.
But it does mean you have to call out the evil government.
I agree.
Netanyahu is an evil prime minister of Israel. He is a warmonger. He uses scripture, twisted scripture to justify the assassination of people.
Americans.
And fool Americans. You've got whole church denominations that will prop up the Israeli government, not the Jewish people, the Israeli government. They will falsely equate scriptural Israelites.
And meanwhile, Israel closes down church after church after church,
100%.
tries and takes over the Christian and Armenian border.
If you get off the tourist path in Israel, and you're not on the tourist path in Israel where you're protected, I muted you. Teddy, you're good. Okay. You get off the tourist path in Israel, and you find yourself in certain quarters throughout Israel, they will spit on you.
Yep.
They don't like you. You're a Christian, they don't like you. We don't acknowledge these things, and we need to acknowledge these things.
Yep.
We need to recognize that there are factions on the Jewish and Muslim side that don't like Christians. Because we, from Scripture, John Hagee, you're exactly right, Sam. John Hagee is one of these big, Jewish promoters, and I go...
And it's just that, and then the influence of dispensationalism as well.
The dispensationalism is horrible. And here's the thing, I need to do a whole show on this, and do a really nice presentation on it. But, the Jewish people are God's chosen people to lead the rest of the people into the glory of God. I was looking up scriptures and doing some study. I've been doing study on this for years, but I was just recently revisiting some of the studies, and it says that it was the Lord speaking to the Jewish people, you are a light of revelation unto the Gentiles. Meaning the Jews are there as God's chosen people, not to be lords over the rest of the nations, but to show the best example of what it means to be the people of God. And then anybody who wants to come in can be part of that. And then since the new covenant, Christ's crucifixion, Paul writes about it in Romans and a couple other places where he talks about it. He says, we are spiritual Israel. And the actual Israel, he says, there's a hardening in part until the full number of the Gentiles have been brought in. And so there's this dynamic where we've misunderstood this concept that if you're the chosen people of God, you're chosen to be the example and the light for the rest of the world, not to act like you need to be Lord over them and exterminate them if they don't comply to what you're saying. And that's what you're getting out of the Israeli government, is extermination if you don't comply. Yep. And further, if you do comply but we don't like you, we're still going to exterminate you. That's what they're doing.
Yep. But my main problem is the hypocrisy that Trump's doing, where he's like throwing a cow over, tragic 100%. Ukrainian civilian deaths.
Yep.
But again, 58 in the last month.
Correct.
Compared to
and I will not
hundreds or thousands in the same time.
Yeah.
So where's the...
And I won't disagree with you except on the track record of Trump. I hold out hope on the track record, because I've seen his track record where he swings a certain way and then the ultimate resolution is good stuff.
My main thing about the 7 wars is what happens when Trump's gone. Because there's not really any grand compromise. They're just like not doing anything because Trump's in office. But what if someone else, let's just say Gavin Newsom takes power. What's preventing these countries from not honoring their agreements or continuing a war?
I get that, but
there's no, Trump just stops them from fighting, but there's no actual comprehensive agreement. And that's my issue.
But look at it from this prism. Peace is the hardest thing to obtain. War is easy. To be at peace at this table.
Yep.
I've thrown Di Serono bottles with friends of mine who sat here, and I loved. And I've thrown Di Serono bottles because we disagreed. But to be at peace, I have to be able to absorb something that I disagree with, that I don't like, that bothers me, that you may say, that I may say. You have to absorb what I'm saying. And we have to, it says peacemakers who sow into righteousness. Peacemakers who sow into righteousness raise a harvest, or peacemakers who sow into peace raise a harvest of righteousness. Peacemakers, they have to go into the field, whatever that field may be, and sow peace and hope that that crop eventually produces a harvest. Sowing and harvesting is a time frame. And so peace takes a long time. Whenever you endeavor to be a peacemaker, the reward can be very far out. Harvests are different. You plant corn in the spring, and then you hope for your corn harvest in the fall. But if I plant a winter wheat or onions or some of the other ones that germinate over the winter time, and then they grow, and then come springtime, you've got these harvests. It's all these dynamics. And war is easy. So when you're talking about what happens after Trump goes, I go, you know what? People gravitate towards
war.
I
get that, and I'm not disparaging the work Trump has done with peace, but I'm just saying is that I would expect just whatever he has done to just kind of dissipate as soon as he's not in office, which is unfortunate.
It's unfortunate.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah, Tim says the wounds of a friend can be trusted. Yeah, look at Charlie, and then you'll read the other one in a second. But look at what Charlie Kirk was a peacemaker constantly. They tried to vilify him and say his words were hateful. They weren't. You listen to any speech or any retort that he's given, I challenge a conscious, logically thinking person to.
Nice.
Sorry, I had to grab that. I challenge anybody to find something in his words that, if they were heated, they were in response. But all of them were peaceful words in context. And I challenge people to look at that and go, look what they did to that peacemaker. Look what they did to Martin Luther King. Look what they did to RFK. RFK Sr. Look what they did to JFK. These were men who, JFK, when they brought him in, they thought he was going to be right in their pocket and go into Vietnam and do all these wars. And he said, no. I love it's a quote from the JFK movie, but it's an accurate quote when he says, why are we going to go into Vietnam, which is so far away, when we wouldn't go into Cuba, which is so close? And they criticize him for that. But he didn't want to go to war. He opened up a line of communication with Khrushchev. He tried to deal with these things. Peacemakers are always a target.
Yeah. But again, which is the Russia and Ukraine and the Israel-Gaza, there's a bit of hypocrisy.
I agree.
Why isn't Trump hounding Netanyahu and threatening sanctions like he's saying with Russia? That's all. That's my point.
I agree with you.
And lots of people, and you could say, oh, they could be Hamas, but most of these people are just civilians.
Well, look at it right there, Teddy. There, look at that movie poster behind you.
Iron Man one?
Yeah, Iron Man. So that poster, that's for Iron Man 2. But think about the first Iron Man. What was the dynamic in that first Iron Man movie? Is that in Iron Man 1, here was a genius, that's who his character was a genius, engineer and all that, who inherited a company from his father. And the whole dynamic of the first movie is he goes through this horrible ordeal where they're trying to kill him so that Jebediah Stane can inherit the company. And he comes back from that ordeal after making the first Iron Man suit in a cave, and he says, we're no longer going to make weapons. And Obadiah Stane says to him, this is a weapons company. This company's predicated on making weapons. Do you know what our stock is what's going to happen to our stock? And I look at this, so in that dynamic, Tony Stark's character, the movie, it's hypothetical, but he inherits this company from his father. He goes along with it for a long time. And then he gets in a situation that wakes him up. And he realizes, holy shit. And so the rest of the movies, 2 and 3, and then a bunch of the Avengers stuff, he's constantly in this battle of being the guy in the suit who's violent because he feels he needs to be to rectify, to make, sometimes you got to be violent to make peace. Sometimes you got to shoot the bad guy in order to be, so the bad guy doesn't shoot a whole bunch of other people, right? And I look at that dynamic and I go, here's Trump inheriting the military-industrial complex that Eisenhower warned us in the 50s that JFK was assassinated for in 63. That RFK was assassinated for running for president. That Martin Luther King was assassinated for because he shifted from, once he had really taken a good foothold of fighting for racial, getting rid of Jim Crow and a bunch of other bullshit in the South, he shifted to the Vietnam War because there was a lot of young black men who didn't have the same rights under Jim Crow in the South that were being drafted to go to war and fight in a foreign theater that had nothing to do with the American people as well as black Americans.
Yeah.
And I look at those all of those dynamics and I go, here's Trump in 2024, 25 now, inheriting all of that CIA, NSA baggage and bullshit. And I'm putting myself, what I'm saying is I'm putting myself in his shoes going, how the fuck would I navigate that?
Yep.
Though the only reason, when you push back at me, I get it and I agree with you. But I also take that into account. I go, how would I navigate that shit?
Yep.
Would I try the art of the deal at a certain point and go, oh, Vladimir Zelenko, you're doing such a great job and you're doing so awesome and everything like that. A month ago, he yelled at him. He goes, you show up without a fucking suit on, you're not going to be in the White House.
It just seems to me like, and I never seen this with Trump before, but with Zelensky at least, it seems like just bipolar. That's all I can think of. It's like...
I get that, but again, I default back to go, what did he inherit? What is the military-industrial complex that he inherited?
Yep.
And how is he navigating it as a guy who... I heard somebody today that was very poignant, and they said, Trump is he loves to talk... It was Alex Jones was talking about it with one of the other guests, and he said, Trump loves winning. He's addicted to winning. He has almost a savant bent on winning. And when he comes across somebody that's a winner, he wants to know, well, what did you do? How did you do it? Where was this? What was that factor? What was this thing? He wants to win. And I think that dynamic overrides and causes sometimes the flip-flop. I'm not giving an excuse. I'm trying to understand the man. Why did you flip-flop on this shit? I mean, all of our conservative people out there in our blogosphere, say with me, all went, dude, you just gave this great speech. You just came out and did, said the Tylenol shit. And then in the same breath, you go, Zelensky, you're doing a great job. You can take part back Russia.
I just think it's a pattern of betrayals that we are starting to see. And you could say it's not Trump. You could say, oh, it's going on Trump. But it could just be the people like Susan Wilds that are influencing him. It's like it's like the first term with Kushner, right? We have the Epstein stuff, and you can say all you want about the Epstein stuff and what the angles are and all that. But the fact is that it's probably the biggest fumble of his second term or his presidency in general, just how he handled the Epstein stuff initially.
Well, yes.
And then
then factor in what a lot of insiders have said is that he's using that Epstein information as blackmail to get what he wants, which is making America great again.
Maybe.
Would you do that? Would I do that? I don't know. Initially, I would tell you absolutely not. I'm not going to use blackmail to get what I want. But then when you dig into the swamp and you're actually in that position, I don't know. I've watched, this is one of the criticisms that I've seen across the board. And I'll ask you this question. You're 23. I'm 50, almost 53. So I got a few years on you. But if you look, just take a minute and think about it from this perspective. You got a brand new politician. He's excited. He's going to change the world, and then a bunch of establishment people get around him and they pump him up and they promote him and they gather around him, and he's kind of swept up in that whole thing. And the next thing you know, he's in office, and then they come to him and they say, "Yeah, we're really proud of you. You got in here. You did a great job, and you're doing really well. But let's take you in this back room and show you what's really behind the curtain." And now this young person who had all of this piss and vinegar to set things right is shown what's behind the curtain. What's behind the curtain is a lot of dirty shit. And their eyes are open to how much evil and debauchery there is in the government. And they're given opportunities and choices. And I find that it's the very rare person, an MTG, a Boebert, who's the guy, he's always opposing everything on a conservative.
Massey?
Yeah, Massey. They're trying to primary him on, Thomas Massey. And those are very rare people. Because the vast majority of them, they get behind that curtain and they go, "Holy shit." And they go, "Yeah, this is the apparatus you're working with now." And they go, "Okay, well, I guess I gotta go along for the greater good." So I've taken a much softer tone than Larry about the rhinos.
I think
not because I accept their behavior, but because I've come to understand the dynamics of, until you walk into that office and they lay open, it's like you're the mafia don.
Yep.
And you were unaware of everything up to this point. And then they lay the books out and they go, "This is how we actually operate. We killed that guy, we killed that guy, we took out that guy, we took out this other guy, this guy, and now you're in charge, so I want you to realize this is what we do." And you go, "Well, do I expose everybody and lose my position and they take me out? Or do I absorb some of this and go along with it?" Those are some of the dynamics I think about with Trump. Look at his first term. He was surrounded by absolute shitheads. I mean, horrible deep state fuckers. Now, he's done much better.
But you got Bondi, which very suspicious how Matt Gaetz got overturned.
Yep.
Then you have Patel and Bongino, who
I think Bondi and Patel have both been a disaster.
And then you like Bongino and Patel, they're like, "Oh,
I
IFC
think,
didn't
well,
kill him."
Bongino's running for the hills as fast as he can. I mean, if Bongino could quit in a very diplomatic manner and save his image, he would have done it. So what I'm looking at is, if you take into account those factors, let's say hypothetically, Teddy, pick a topic that's near and dear to you.
Let's just say, for the sake of argument, let's just do Napoleonic Wars or something like that, just because I can't.
No, give me something current.
Current? Oh,
this Howell Data Center?
Yeah, Howell Data Center.
Okay. So you get in there and you're all against it.
Yep.
And you get on the board and you're part of the decision making. And then they show you a whole bunch of behind-the-scenes paperwork that you were not aware of at all, that they didn't release to the public, that shows you some stuff that challenges your hardcore belief. How do you navigate that? Let's say the information you're shown is legitimate.
Okay.
And it freaks you the fuck out. Hit that button. Hit the grandma button. Bottom. And it creeps me the fuck out.
Yep.
And it creeps me the fuck out.
So you hear this information and it creeps you the fuck out. Okay? How would you come back to the public and explain your hardcore position has now been modulated because you just saw some shit that creeped you the fuck out? How do you do it? These are legitimate questions that I have.
Like you said, I guess maneuver your way out of it. Careful, meticulous maneuvering.
Right.
But it has to be consistent maneuvering.
I'm not doubting. Yeah.
And my point is that there's just flip-flopping.
A little bit of inconsistency.
And it's a little bit of inconsistency, hypocrisy.
He met with Putin in Alaska, and he told a week or months before that, he told Zelensky, "You don't have the fucking cards. What are you talking about? Shut the fuck up."
Why does Zelensky have the cards though? Why does Trump think Ukraine can win? Unless
exactly. And then he meets with Putin, and he says we're close to a deal, and he goes back and forth, and then he's sitting there with Zelensky, and he says, "You know what? I think we could win this." And I go, I don't know what the gamesmanship is, and I want to know, but I'm on the outside looking in, and all I can do is go, "All right, Lord, how do I assess this? How do I figure this out?" And there's millions of us out here in this environment going, "What the fuck, dude? He's flip-flopping." But what are the factors of this? Because here's the thing. Here's the overriding factor that we have to take into account. Is this a man with a lack of integrity?
I would say, compared to past holders of the office in the recent era, have a bit more integrity.
This is a man that they had to bring up trumped-up charges, the pun intended, trumped-up charges to impeach him.
Yep.
They couldn't find anything legitimate. With all the indictments, all the attacks that they did on him, they couldn't find anything legitimate.
And Zelensky was involved in the first impeachment, too.
Right. They couldn't find anything legitimate on this guy to truly impeach his character, his conduct. So, on the integrity level that's been tested and tried, they can't find anything. They can't find a single legitimate employee that will come out and testify against Trump. Not because he's coerced them, but because he's that genuine of a guy. So when I look at his flip-flopping, I go, I have to take that into account and go, what the fuck's really going on here? Because if you can't impeach this guy's character legitimately, even though the Democrats tried hardcore for the last 7 years, well, no, 9 years, then how do I assess this? These are questions I ask myself, and then kick it back to you.
I would like to compare and contrast of how the Ukraine and Russia thing was handled compared to Israel and Iran. You had all the, you could tell what was coming a little bit.
But you're not going to get Trump to go in there and do a strategic attack of Russia to end Israel's overextended attack. Correct?
Maybe.
That would be the scenario.
But
if Israel and Ukraine are both the good guys in this scenario, Israel and Iran, Trump says, okay, we'll do a strategic attack on Iran, shut the fuck up, we're not doing anything else after that. That's what he did. What's the strategic attack on Russia? You're not going to do it. Russia is equal with us as a nuclear superpower. You're not going to do it.
Yep.
So is he building Zelensky up for a fall?
Maybe. And, I don't know. I know as much as you do, my friend. I'm just giving my speculation.
No, 100%. That's why we're having this conversation.
But you could be right. Could be propping Zelensky up.
Yep. That's why.
But I just mean, if you're propping Zelensky up, that means you got to give more money and weapons to him, and that's just a betrayal.
Yeah.
Of what.
100%.
Of the base.
Right. But look at his move. Look at Trump's move on a lot of stuff. Trump's move on a lot of stuff is, we're not giving you these weapons. We'll sell them to the UN. They're going to have to buy them from us without our money.
You mean the EU?
Well, the EU, the UN.
I don't think the UN's supplying Ukraine. I think it's just EU, Europeans.
No, I'm sorry, NATO.
NATO.
NATO's what I meant. So they're doing that. And I go, what's the strategic, And his UN speech today, he's like, every one of these countries could be great. But you're fucking yourself.
My question is, if he did the same thing to Russia as Iran, what would your...
It doesn't happen.
Well,
Iran's the...
Let's just say it did for argument's sake. How is that somehow part of the deal still, or is it just?
Well, look at Iran and look what Trump did before. They bombed something, and then Iran said, we're going to send in some missiles. They warned everybody. They shot them all down. That was Iran's retaliation. They saved face because they attacked back. That was the first time that he attacked Iran.
Yep.
The second time that he came in and did the Iran attack with these nuclear weapons, supposedly nuclear depots, they bombed the fuck out of them, and they were wiped out. And then what happened? They were allowed to save face a little bit, throw some throw some bombs over, and the same scenario. Not quite in the same level.
I think Iran is a different. I think Russia is a way different animal in terms of threatening
well,
the
but
homeland.
your scenario is if it was equal. If it was equal, then America would do a preemptive strike to wipe out nuclear facilities, and then Russia would be able to be allowed to do a retaliatory strike on Ukraine with minimal impact, and it would be said and done. Nobody's talking about Iran right now, other than us and the Iran-Israeli conflict.
I would say
is asleep right now.
I would say I would keep an eye on it because Iraq.
Oh, it's going to flare back up.
Iraq is buying advanced South Korean air defenses.
100%.
In the next few months. In the next few months.
Yeah.
And the only way Israel can attack Iran is through Iraq airspace.
But in your scenario, looking at the dynamics, you're hypothetical throwing it out there and go, okay, well, what would we do if we attacked Russia the same way? Well, Russia has the equivalence, or the capacity to retaliate between Russia and Ukraine, or Russia and Iran don't equate.
What I mean is, I'm not talking about Russia and Ukraine. What if we preemptively did the same for Israel, like we did? What we're doing for Ukraine, what we did with Israel for Iran. Like, let's just say we bombed like some Russian missile system or something, or factory.
You have a.
Is that still part of the deal?
No, that's suicide.
That's just madness.
That's madness. That's suicide. Because the difference between Iran and Russia.
Yep.
Russia has a full nuclear arsenal.
Yep.
And if we did any strike, it would be out and out World War III, even though we're already in World War III proxy
people
war.
are bringing up the Turkish method, which Turkey shot down a Russian jet in Syria in 2015, and Russia didn't really do anything.
You can have some small things.
You could have some small things,
but I mean, look at Zelensky fucking attacked Poland.
Yep.
And if it wasn't for the fact that they shot down a couple of the missiles that came in and knew that they were Ukrainian, they were trying to spin it that it was fucking Russia doing it.
Yep.
So I don't know what Trump's move today is. I think in the next 2 weeks, if we wait long enough,
wait and see.
That Trump's it's gonna pan out that Trump is like.
I just think it could be either something big or it's just gonna be status quo.
Well, here's another factor. Look at Trump's approach to a lot of people. Trump likes to build a lot of people up. Oh, he's a great guy. He's a good guy. He's a great guy. He's doing a good job. He's doing this. He's doing that. And then the next thing you know, they're gone. He came out the other day in like 3 tweets. 1 tweet or Truth Social post. Pam Bondi's fucking up. She's doing a horrible job. Then an hour later, she's doing a good job. I go.
You could argue it's part of the deal, or it could just be insanity. You don't know. That's part of it.
So here's the ultimate conclusion, and we'll finish with some final thoughts here, buddy. You judge a tree by its fruit, not by its blossoms in the spring, not by its colors. Well, its colors in the fall, when its leaves are turning, but by the actual fruit production. And fruit production comes back with pruning and all of that, those dynamics of how I love John 15 for that. John chapter 15. I am the vine, you are the branches. Every branch of me that does not bear fruit, I prune and cut off and throw in the fire. And so there's a lot of dynamics in that. But you judge a tree by its fruit. The overall fruit of Donald Trump has been, for me, the long time gestation fruit produced from President Trump has been phenomenal. I think without rot. The short term
I want to hold my
blossoms.
I understand that, but what I'm thinking in terms of this, the fruit and what it's produced, I think will not see that until 2027, 28.
Okay.
Then we'll have the full. Then we know what actually is
Right.
going to happen and the effects.
Think
But
of
we're
it-
still in the early. We're still in like the early spring where it's
Right.
blossoming, but we don't know what it's going to be.
Right. So think of it in terms of Charlie Kirk right now, because it's the hot topic.
Yep.
What is the fruit of Charlie Kirk pre-assassination?
Like in my opinion, just say like mainstream conservative influencer kind of thing. I mean,
And then when he's assassinated, all of a sudden,
she shaped the youth for. So
and rightly so, because of the outpouring. This is not
Yep.
inauthentic.
it's not an authentic, but
The outpouring of people who went, he affected my life,
yep.
and they're coming out en masse. I think that is emblematic of the fruit. Is you don't always see the fruit
I think
until it's too late.
I think the energy driven by the assassination is part of the blossoming, but we'll see the
doubt.
fruit. We'll see the fruit in the years and couple decades to come. That the
Yeah.
legacy built upon the energy and how that energy
Yeah.
is going and spent. That's going to
Well,
be the fruit of Charlie Kirk's
Yes.
legacy.
And I don't know if you've studied this in scriptures, but from Acts chapter 7, Stephen being stoned to death by the Sanhedrin and by the Pharisees. But it says at the end of the chapter that they laid their clothes at a young man named Saul. And then Saul went around and persecuted the church from that point on. And then he has this Saul of Tarsus moment, quite literally, that's his name, and he gets knocked down on the road to Damascus. And he has this epiphany. He's blinded, and he has this epiphany. And he becomes the most prolific writer of our current canon of New Testament scriptures out of anyone. This was a guy who stood while one of the first Christians was being stoned to death, held the clothes of them, and then went from city to city with letters from the Sanhedrin with the authorization to arrest and kill Christians
Yep.
throughout that Roman world. I look at that dynamic and go, how many people recognize when they're reading Romans, 1 Corinthians, 2 Corinthians, Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians, 1 and 2 Timothy, Philemon. Am I missing one? I'm probably missing one or two. He's the most prolific writer of the New Testament scriptures that we have. And yet, how many people acknowledge the fruit of Stephen at that moment? Because he quotes it back in Acts.
Yep.
When he says, when your martyr Stephen was standing there, I held the clothes of those who stoned him to death and gave my approval. That was a profound effect in his life. It took a long time for that fruit to come to fruition. But when it did, his life was changed and he became an icon of the Christian faith. And I think of these dynamics when I'm looking at all this stuff and I go, it may take a generation or two for things to come to fruition. But what are the seeds that Charlie Kirk and Donald Trump and Alex Jones and Rand Paul and multiple other people have, I think of G.K. Chesterton back in the turn of the 19th century to the 20th century. I think of all the other. Look at Edwards. What was his? He did a ton of documentary on the bankers and stuff like that. G. Edward Griffin. Just these icons of change and truth that you may not see their fruit until long before the tree is dead, or long after the tree is dead.
I agree.
And so I don't know what Trump's doing. I'm disappointed in the moment. But I look at the fruit of what he's doing, and I also acknowledge that he's an imperfect man who's not going to do everything I want him to do.
Yep.
Because if I was in that position, how would I be judged? How would I be perceived in the public arena? And I try to ascribe to him the benefit when I know this is a man who truly wants to make America great. Joe Biden wasn't. Barack Obama wasn't. Hillary Clinton wasn't. Bill Clinton wasn't.
George Bush wasn't.
George Bush wasn't. George Bush Sr. wasn't.
Ronald Reagan wasn't.
I think Ronald Reagan, for his faults and flaws, I think he was genuine in his approach to being a good president, which is why they tried to kill him in his first year. They tried to assassinate him in his first year because they knew he wasn't going to go along with it. I think they kowtowed him and scared the shit out of him. Same way that I've had a very revisionist perception of Richard Nixon. And the same way that I've had a very profound respect for JFK, for there's one other president between JFK and TR, but I think Teddy Roosevelt was very, very profound as a president, very solid as a president. And I think that there's other presidents going back. I have huge problems with Lincoln and the way that he abused a lot of the constitutional dynamics. But at the same time, I think that he had an intent to save the republic. Do I agree with the way he went about it? No. I think he violated states' rights and set the country back miles. Do I look at all of our founding fathers? You know, Washington as the first president, Adams, and then Jefferson, and then Madison. I look at these presidents and how they operated and conducted, and go, these are flawed men who navigated the waters the best they could to keep off the rocks and not run aground and you know, get down the stream as best they could. And I think of these dynamics, and I look at President Trump nowadays, and I go, this is a guy who inherited a military-industrial complex and a CIA cabal that had murdered our president once before and kept other presidents in check by the Watergate scandal, by John Hinckley coming out under MKUltra and trying to assassinate Reagan. And I think this is a guy that has, for lack of a better term, some huge balls. And so I'm not rose-colored. I don't have any rose-colored glasses blocking out the, you know, different lights light spectrum that's trying to get to me. But I don't rush to that critical place. I understand it. I want to be there sometimes. But I hold back a lot because I go, fuck, what did he inherit? He inherited a swamp, truly. Was he able to clear it? Was he in there and horribly naive in his first term? I mean, look what he did in the first month of his second term.
Yep.
Now it's cooled down, and I go, all right, I still want to give him the benefit of the doubt because I've seen the man's heart. And his heart is not demonic like other presidents have been. His heart is genuine. Does that mean he's going to be right all the time? Fuck no. He's going to fuck up. He's going to say the wrong things. He's going to sit there with Zelensky and say, you're doing a great job. Maybe we take back the whole of Russia. Is that hyperbole? Is that the art of the deal? I don't fucking know. I disagree with it today, but I'm not going to condemn.
We'll see what happens tomorrow.
But I'm not going to condemn the man completely because I just don't know.
I don't know either.
And I think that's the conundrum, isn't it? Final thoughts, Teddy. This is a good discussion. I like their little
We never know. All we can do is speculate and see what happens in the future.
Yeah. This is our little after show. We're still in the show, but it's our after show. But any other final thoughts, buddy?
I would say I just agree. I agree a lot with what you were saying. Just gotta wait this out. You know, there's some times where you gotta have patience. You gotta wait out to see the fruits of someone or something's labor in the process. But there are other times where you should stand up and say, hey, this isn't right. This is hypocritical. This is inhumane, like comparing, Russia and Ukraine to Israel and Gaza.
Yeah.
But there's just other stuff, some stuff, like I've said, Trump has done good at. Other stuff, I disagree.
Yeah.
And I think that, it's our duty as, right-wing, conservative, or whatever you want to
hold his feet to the fire.
hold his feet to the fire. And,
100%.
we can't just be like we can't be like the people that just think.
We don't want to turn a blind eye.
We can't be like the Q people or the 2 more weeks people. We gotta hold the feet to the fire, and
we can't be the Q people.
QAnon.
Hillary's already in prison in Gitmo.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
She's already in prison. Dude, how can you even dispute that shit? I don't know what you're talking about.
Come on, man.
Come on, man. Super serious.
We'll see. We'll see what the second term brings us in 2 years.
This was good discussion because I kind of got to vet some of my thoughts about this. It's like we want to. It's the dynamic of throwing the baby out with the bathwater.
I think too. A lot of people just focus on the day-to-day things of politics and the news, and people don't think about the but medium to long term.
Yeah.
Haven't
we been conditioned to be goldfish over the last 50 years?
Yep. Maybe it was the frequency. Maybe it was all the frequencies that are going.
Oh, I guarantee it, dude. I guarantee it. You got to look out the Medical Rebel. She's awesome.
Yeah.
She breaks it down.
Yeah,
Also, Dr. Sherry Tenpenny, she's been on the vaccine front for 30 plus years that I know of.
Mm-hmm.
She's phenomenal.
Yeah.
So I don't come at those conclusions on my own.
Mm.
I come at the vaccine.
Everyone can come to their own conclusions.
100%. But it's the wealth of information that's out there that can help you have the best, well-rounded conclusion.
Yep.
Not just an isolated. That the isolated one where when people say that you have an echo chamber. Mm-hmm. Okay, the only time you have an echo chamber is when you won't do the Aristotle quote of it's the mark of an educated mind to be able to entertain an idea without embracing it.
Yep.
I want to entertain all these ideas.
That'd be a good disclaimer. Mark of an educated mind is to.
I want to do a whole show on it.
Yeah,
I told you about that.
That'd be a great show.
I want to do the mark of an educated mind and pick a subject, or a topic, and then just go down it. Well, we've got a lot of shows that we gotta get. Dude, I've had.
We gotta do a Tech Tips with Larry mini show.
Right? Tech Tips with me when I'm trying to push.
Hey there, libtards, it's Larry. Sorry I was late again. I want to show you how to turn on a computer.
Exactly. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. As always, like, share, and subscribe. Do all that stuff. Hit the thumbs up button on Rumble. If you're on these other platforms that are now, we didn't even discuss this, but YouTube is allowing some of the channels back on. They're saying, oh, well, we deplatformed you because you said something about the election and about vaccines, but now we're going to put you back on. We didn't even cover Destiny the asshole, who's saying that the Charlie Kirk Memorial looked like a Nazi rally. Maybe I'll do a special thing on that. That was one of the only things we didn't get on this, right?
I think so. I think we covered everything.
Yeah, we covered the autism report. We covered the other stuff. So
we didn't really cover the Howell Data Center that well.
No.
We'll have to do that some other time.
Maybe we need to do a special thing.
Maybe we should do like a Tuesday night. Maybe we could do like a Tuesday night, too much development rant or something like that, or overdevelopment rant.
There's so much stuff to cover, and we just literally, there's not enough time. Without being a fully financed podcast where we can have everybody here on a daily basis.
Yep.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough to come in.
Again, another new week of news cycle.
100%. That's why we were just trying to do a
little catch up.
Yeah. So if you want to help support the show, you can obviously do super chats in there. And thank you for was that John Bovey?
Oh yeah.
$48 to you.
48. No, that's Barron. I don't know who that is.
Oh, it's Barron.
That was Barron.
Did you get $1?
No, Larry got $1. Tim got $1.
Tim got $1.
Jorge got said the lighting guy, Jorge, should be fired, and you weren't mentioned.
That's just true. That's kind of a slighting shit. But Tim Allen has posted in the chat there, thealexjonesstore.com/this is my brain. Pretty simple. thealexjonesstore.com/this is my brain. Get some great products on there. I take multiple products. I take the methylene blue. I take the Shilajit gummies. I take the turmeric gummies. I have the other two. What the hell are they? The greens things. It's in my drawer. I just pull it out and I take it.
It's like pills. Take all the different pills for the different pills.
That's why I switched to a lot of the. I switched to a lot of the gummies.
Got to take this gummy to take another gummy.
Yeah. There's all sorts of great stuff on there. There's some iodine on there. There's some great stuff. If you're missing out on iodine, do that. But there's some awesome stuff. Go do that. But if you do that code or that / this is my brain from the allexjonesstore.com, we get a kickback on that. And we appreciate it. But always super chats. There's probably some QR codes that I don't even know about. But there it is. So thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate all of you out there. We may do some special shows. If I can drag Teddy over here and we'll have some other discussions. Great discussion, Teddy, as always. Appreciate you, buddy. Shane took your spot last week. But
she did a good job. He did a good job.
Yeah, Shane's
love
great.
Shane.
Yeah, he's awesome. So there it is. We'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.
This is my brain.
Dad, that's an egg.
Yeah, that's an egg.
Honey,
Dude.
that's an egg.
Seriously.
That's an egg.
It's a metaphor.
It's still an egg.
That's an egg.
I would challenge you.
That's an egg.
I know my brain is not actually an egg, okay? It's a metaphor.
Metaphor or not, that's not your brain.
It's just an egg.
Una cerveza para mí. My egg is my brain.
Can I at least have some bacon, maybe some sausage with that egg, though?
Oh, I want some bacon.
I want crepes.
Have some bacon and pancakes with that egg.
I'll take it with cheese.
Extra large brown cage-free eggs.
Can I have your brain with hot cakes?
A little sausage and a little toast and potato.
That would be great.
Does it have antibiotics?
I don't know, man. I'm not good at this shit.
Well, they got to be able to resist some diseases.
You resist the disease.
Has it got any hormones?
Maybe. It's cage free.
Vegetarian?
Maybe.
Are they vegan?
No, I eat steak.
Never apologize and never explain.
Never apologize.
Yeah. Never apologize and never explain.